Chapter 243. On the other hand, Evil Cultivator was a mission entrusted by the rich young master. Different people would get different points. 5,000 points would be 5 million. Hearing this consolation, Qiao Yuliang nodded slowly. Recently, Xiao Chen had cheated away a lot of money, and he needed to replenish it. What should we do next? Qiao Yuliang nodded and asked. Now, Brother Black Crazy hadn't even seen Xiao Chen's shadow, and he was already killed by the Sun family. What kind of rubbish was this? Why was it so difficult to deal with Xiao Chen? Previously, when he was dealing with Xiao Chen, the Lu family kept going against him. But that was because of Qing Menjing, so it was understandable. Now, the Sun family came out, and it was because of those inexplicable **T reasons. He had asked Qin Jinpeng to beat up Sun Rongjin. Was that the reason? Let me think about it. However, after you submit the mission, the Warrior Guild will know that Brother He Feng, a wanted criminal, had escaped to Songning City without any warning. I'm afraid that the next step will be to strictly guard against foreign martial artists. Maybe they will even send an inspector from the higher-ups. Li Shaniying said, Qiao Yuliang, your father is the vice president of the Warrior Guild. He should know about this. If he can open the back door for me, it won't be a problem for me to get another wanted martial artist. I'm afraid that won't work. Qin Jinpeng shook his head quickly. He knew what he was relying on. His father had just become the vice president of the Warrior Guild, and he had just become the young master of the Qin family. If such a thing happened at this critical juncture, the Qin family might be finished. Although he was a little stupid sometimes, it didn't mean that he was a fool. That's it. We can only think of other ways. Li Shaniying sighed. He thought that it was in the bag this time, but he didn't expect it to be such a bad start. He didn't expect Qin Jinpeng to persuade his father to let him go. A car is coming from behind. Let's go. Qiao Yuliang suddenly said. What happened before was actually very fast, only a few minutes, and it was normal for there to be no traffic. Now that there was a car coming from behind, Qiao Yuliang quickly kicked the log aside, and then quickly moved the two bodies on the ground into the haystack by the roadside. They pretended to get out of the car to relieve themselves. After the car behind them left, Qiao Yuliang asked Qin Jinpeng to fold up Black Crazy Bro's body and stuff it into the trunk. As for the body of the Sun family's guard, he was too lazy to take it. They got into the car and prepared to find a place to stay to discuss the next opportunity. The few of them got into the car and prepared to find a place to settle down and discuss the next step of the plan. The car drove all the way to the Warrior Guild. Inside the car, the atmosphere was a little depressing. The four people who were originally in high spirits had now become three sad people. This Xiao Chen, what other hobbies does he have? Let's start with his hobbies. Li Shaniying felt a sense of defeat. It was the first time he felt that killing someone was so difficult. Moreover, it was a useless person who was chased out of the family. He doesn't have any hobbies. Oh right, he loves money. It was the same in the car race last time. Qin Jinpeng thought for a moment, then slapped his thigh and said, Didn't he kill your brother in the car race? Why don't we make a fuss about the car race? It's easy to make a move on the underground car race, but it's not easy to make a move on other aspects. What Jinpeng said makes sense. Based on the current situation, if we invite Xiao Chen to race, he can still go. However, if we ask him to do something else, we can't guarantee a 100% success rate. Qiao Yuliang also nodded and said. Car race. That's fine. I'll plan it. Li Shaniying nodded. This suggestion was not bad, and he could discuss it with Lin Chao when the time came. There were people on night shift at the Warrior Guild. Qiao Yuliang and Qin Jinpeng carried Brother He Feng's corpse and walked in. When Qiao Yuliang and Qin Jinpeng entered the Warrior Guild, they were stopped by the guard. Hello, the two of you. Please show me your Warrior Guild membership card. I didn't bring it, but I'm Qin Jinpeng, and my dad is Qin Jinpeng. Qin Jinpeng looked at the guard and said arrogantly. The guard was slightly stunned, but he didn't dare to stop them. After all, Qin Jinping had said Vice President Chen's name. How could he dare to be rash? He quickly said, "Young Master Chen, do you have anything that can prove your identity?" "Don't dawdle. I'm here to submit a mission. Can't you see that I'm carrying the wanted criminal here?" Qin Jinping pointed at the person on his back. Ah. The guard didn't know who Brother He Feng was. "All right, I have a membership card." Xiao Yuliang waved his hand and took out a membership card from the hidden compartment of his wallet. This was a membership card that he had applied for with another identity. Normally, he wouldn't use his real identity. But now that his hidden strength had been exposed, there was no need to hide it anymore. Oh. The guard quickly verified Xiao Yuliang's membership card and let them in after finding that there was no problem. After all, at least it proved that they were both martial artists. Even if Qin Jinping wasn't Vice President Chen's son, he was still someone who understood martial artists. There wouldn't be any trouble. The two of them entered the Warrior Guild's trading hall. It was already empty, but the emergency duty room was still lit. Xiao Yuliang and Qin Jinping walked over and submitted the mission. Although the martial artist on duty felt that it was a miracle that Xiao Yuliang, a registered member at the peak of Stage 3, could kill a Stage 6 criminal, but the person beside him didn't show his strength. He might even be an expert. Moreover, when Xiao Yuliang registered, he was at the peak of Stage 3. Maybe he had already leveled up. After charging the points into Xiao Yuliang's membership card, Xiao Yuliang and Qin Jinping left the Warrior Guild in a hurry. Xiao Yuliang didn't have many points on his card. He had spent most of them previously. This was a windfall. The two of them returned to the car and sent Li Shaning to the hotel. They had to go back first. Li Shaning needed some time to plan when he contacted the racing team. He would contact them when there was news. Sun Yuming returned to the Sun family with injuries all over his body. As soon as he got out of the car, he collapsed on the ground and couldn't stand up for a long time. First, it was because of the injuries on his body. Second, it was because he was scared. He almost didn't kill Qin Jinping and died there. "Yuming, what's wrong?" Sun Xiaonong was taking a walk in the house to relax. Too many tragedies had happened in the past few days. He was in a bad mood, so he was waiting for the good news from Sun Yuming. In the end, Sun Yuming came back, but no matter how he looked at it, it looked like he returned in failure. "Father, Protector Lu is dead, and I'm seriously injured. My penis was kicked, and I don't know if it's still working, but that's not important. I almost didn't come back." Sun Yuming gritted his teeth and said, "What happened? Isn't bodyguard Lu a Stage 6 martial artist? How did he die?" Sun Xiaonong was stunned. Qin Jinping has an expert with him. He is also a Stage 6 martial artist. "He is only slightly weaker than bodyguard Lu," Sun Yuming said. "Slightly weaker? Then how did he get killed?" Sun Xiaonong was even more puzzled. "This is what happened at the time." Sun Yuming explained the situation and then said, "Originally, bodyguard Lu won. Who would have thought that Xiao Yuliang had been hiding his strength? He was actually a martial artist at the peak of Stage 3 of inner power. He suddenly attacked and killed bodyguard Lu. So, this Xiao Yuliang is quite insidious." Sun Xiaonong's face changed after listening. These aristocratic children are really not simple. They can actually hide for so long and so deep. They are really good. "You lost. It's not an injustice. Father, I suspect that the death of Rong Jin and Rong Qin may be related to Qin Jinping." Sun Yuming suddenly said. "What do you mean?" Sun Xiaonong asked quickly. "Qin Jinping said before that he wanted our Sun family to have no descendants, to have the Sun family exterminated." Sun Yuming said, "I thought of this at once. You say, how can there be such a coincidence in the world? How can two people die on horseback? Oh, come on, gather everyone for a meeting immediately. There is an important matter to discuss." Sun Xiaonong felt that Sun Yuming's analysis was reasonable, but whether this matter was true or not, he still had to hold a meeting to discuss it. Moreover, He also had to ask Medicine Master's son if it was possible to make people die on horseback. Yes. A patrolling guard of the Sun family heard Sun Xiaonong's words and immediately ordered the other guards to call people. It didn't take long for Sun Yuli to come over. Sun Yukai also followed, but Sun Yumao and Chen Ifuo did not come. This made Old Man Sun a little annoyed. Why, Chen Ifuo is just in charge of some family business on the first day, and you are so arrogant. Why didn't Chen Ifuo and Yumao come? Old Man Sun asked with a cold snort. However, at this time, a guard ran over in a panic and shouted, Master Sun, it's not good. Chen Ifuo, he. What happened to Chen Ifuo? He didn't come? Sun Xiaonong said angrily. No, Chen Ifuo, he is dead. The guard gasped for breath and said, Miss Yume is crying. Old Master Sun, you, go and take a look. What? Chen Ifuo is dead? How did he die? Sun Xiaonong was suddenly stunned. Chen Ifuo was fine. How did he die? Sun Yuming and Sun Yuli were also stunned. Even Medicine Master's son was extremely surprised. However, this guard wouldn't talk nonsense. Sun Xiaonong quickly walked to Sun Youmao's villa. Just as he walked to the front of the villa, he heard Sun Youmao's ghostly cries. Sun Xiaonong frowned, pushed the door and walked in. Chapter 244. When he found the room where Sun Yumao was, he saw that Sun Yumao was only covered with a thin quilt at this moment. Obviously, he was not wearing any clothes inside, while Chen Iofo was lying on the bed naked, motionless. His lower body was a mess, with a large pile of red and white, which was very horrible. Sun Yumao didn't need to say anything. The rest of the Sun family knew how Chen Iofo died. Wind on horseback, it was really wind on horseback again. 1 death was an accident, 2 deaths were a coincidence, 3 deaths. What was that? Everyone in the Sun family, including Sun Ruo, felt a chill as if they had fallen into an ice cellar. 3, was it still a coincidence? Even a stupid person would think that there was something wrong with this. Yumao, what happened? Sun Xiaonong took a deep breath and asked. Dad. Isn't it because Iofo was finally put in an important position by the family? He also did 2 big things today. I was happy and planned to reward him tonight, so I made a full set. But when I was making it, who would have thought that he lost his virginity, and he lost his virginity? Sun Yumao said while crying. Sun Xiaonong really didn't know what to say, and he couldn't say anything. Was this a coincidence? He felt that it wasn't. Did Iofo meet Chen Jinpeng today? No, I didn't hear him say that. Sun Yumao shook his head. Check it out. Get the footage from his car recorder and see where he went today. See if he met Chen Jinpeng. Sun Xiaonong took a deep breath and ordered Sun Yuli, Yuli, you are in charge of this matter. Yes. Sun Yuli also wanted to find out the truth as soon as possible. Wasn't this too scary? The Sun family inexplicably died one by one from wind on horseback. Wasn't this making people sleepless? Who knew who would be the next one? After Sun Yuli went out, Sun Xiaonong said to Medicine Master Sun, Yukai, take a look at Iofo's situation. Was it natural or was it done by someone? Think about it. Is it possible to cause someone to die from wind on horseback? Based on my many years of experience as a pharmacist, it's possible to kill a person from a gust of wind on a horse. However, the person performing the technique must be present to seal the acupuncture points. Pharmacist's son walked toward Chen Iotafor as he spoke. He was ready to do a checkup. Is there no other way? For example, poisoning? Sun Xiaonong thought for a moment and asked. Poisoning is also unlikely. As far as I know, there is no such poison that can create such an effect. If poison could create such an effect, the method would have been spread long ago. Besides, other than our family, I have rarely heard of anyone dying like this. Medicine Master's son shook his head. After checking Chen Iotafor's condition, he said, there's no problem. From the current situation, it should really be an accident and a coincidence. This isn't quite possible, right? Sun Xiaonong couldn't believe it. To be honest, I don't believe it either, but based on the current situation, uncle, he really died from an accident on horseback, Medicine Master Sun said with certainty. Unless there's some unknown method involved. All right. Sun Xiaonong took a deep breath and said, next, you can treat Mingyu. As for the iodophore, that's it. At this moment, Sun Xiaonong seemed to be a lot more haggard. Even Medicine Master Sun couldn't see the problem. How clever was the person who did it? Now, Old Man Sun was sure that someone must have done something to him. Sun Rongjin was an accident and Sun Rongqin was a coincidence. Perhaps the two brothers had some invisible family hereditary disease. But now, Chen Iodophore was an outsider. How could he die immediately? Previously, Old Man Sun had executed Xiao Li and the two young models. Now, Chen Iodophore had died because of his daughter. He couldn't possibly kill his daughter to vent his anger, right? Therefore, Old Man Sun couldn't vent his anger in his chest, and he was also very worried. Although he was old, he usually practiced martial arts. Even though he wouldn't have much success at this age, his need for convenience still hadn't declined. Usually, he liked to secretly have a young model and so on. But from now on, how could he dare to do that? Wasn't he just waiting to die? Who knew if he would also die from the wind on the horse? Sun Yoming's injury wasn't particularly serious. After Sun Yukai treated him, there were no more problems. Most of the force from Brother He Crazy's kick was removed by Sun family's bodyguard Lu. Although he was in pain, it was actually because the part that was attacked was too weak. In the Sun family's conference room, the atmosphere was hazy. Sun Xiaonong looked at the people present. In a short period of time, Sun Rongjin, Sun Rongqin, and Chen Iodophore were dead. Who would be next? Okay, everyone, analyze it. I don't think the wind on the horse is an accident. It seems to be a conspiracy against our Sun family. Sun Xiaonong said, but our family didn't offend the Chen family before. The only conflict was between Rongjin and Xiao Chen. Xiao Chen didn't say anything. Why did Chen Jinpeng show off? From what Big Brother said, although Chen Jinpeng is suspicious, what he said was most likely said out of anger. It might not be taken seriously. Sun Yoli said, moreover, with Chen Jinpeng's ability, I don't think he has such means. If he had such means, why would he be someone's follower? If you were so powerful, do you think you would be someone's follower? I don't think it's possible either. Pharmacist Sun nodded and said, if someone with such means goes to the warrior guild, his status will definitely not be lower than mine. I still think it's very likely that it's Chen Jinpeng. Didn't you see how arrogant he was at that time? If he didn't have someone to rely on, would he act like that? Sun Yukai said. From what you said, Chen Jinpeng relied on his father, Chen Huanling. Apart from that, he is also Chao Yuliang's follower. I think the most likely person is Chao Yuliang. Sun Yukai said, a person who can endure for more than 10 years, what kind of mentality and means does he have? Maybe Chao Yuliang has some trump card. Then what should we do next? Declare war on the Chao family or the Chen family? Sun Yukai gritted his teeth and wanted revenge. Silly. Sun Xiaonong said, tonight, you intercepted the Sun family and wanted to kill Chen Jinpeng. We don't even know if the Chen family will attack our Sun family, and we still want to declare war on them? You know, Chen Jinpeng's father is Chen Huanling, the vice president of the warrior guild. Will he tolerate someone assassinating his son? Sun Yukai was shocked. Indeed, he was a little blind before. After carefully thinking about the pros and cons, how could the Chen family escape? However, he still said, isn't it because the Chen family robbed us first? If they didn't make the first move, would we have been able to? They only robbed, they didn't kill anyone. We don't know how the wind came about. It's hard to say if it was the Chen family's doing. Without permission, our Sun family has a potential enemy. Sun Xiaonong snorted and said, if Chen Huanling interfered, even if our Sun family had Yotsai's help, our days would definitely be difficult. Not to mention suppressing the Xia family might even take this opportunity to develop. Xia family? Sun Xiaonong's words made Sun Yukai wake up a little. Father, do you think it was the Xia family who did this? Xia family? Why do you say that? Sun Xiaonong asked. I don't know if you have noticed, but whether it was Rong Jin, Rong Qin, or brother-in-law, they all died not long after taking over the business of the Warriors Market and the Sun family. They all died on the wind. If they died, who would benefit the most? It's the Xia family. Sun Yukai analyzed. Xia family. Now that you mention it, it's really suspicious. But how did the Xia family do it? If they had this kind of method, they wouldn't have been suppressed by us. When you were in charge of the Warriors Market, they should have made a move on you. Why did they wait until Rong Jin? Elder Sun still didn't believe that the Xia family had such a method. If that was really the case, then the Sun family could forget about their business in the future. They had offended the Qin family, and the Xia family was like a tiger watching its prey. How could they develop the Warriors Market business? They should just focus on their own business. The Sun family discussed for a long time, but they couldn't come to a conclusion. The conclusion they came to was to observe the situation first. The Warriors Market business would be suspended to see the attitude of the Qin family, and to see if more people from the Sun family would die. Qin family. After Qin Jinpeng returned home, he told Qin Huanling and Qin Wuxian about what happened today. Bang! Qin Wuxian slammed the table. He was furious. What's wrong with the Sun family? Just because of such a small matter, they want to assassinate you? Do they want our Qin family to have no descendants? Father, I also think that the Sun family has gone too far. I heard that they have been infiltrating the Warriors Market's medicinal herb business. I didn't pay much attention to it, but now it seems that I have to use some means. Qin Huanling said angrily. The third generation of the Qin family only had Qin Jinpeng. If something went wrong, the Qin family would be finished. It was unrealistic to let Qin Zhantian and Qin Huanling have another child. Well, you start from there. I will also contact the Chao family. When the time comes, we will unite and teach the Sun family a lesson. Qin Wuxian sneered. They are just a small business family. Do they really think that they are powerful enough to replace the Xia family? After that, Qin Wuxian was ready to call the Chao family to discuss the matter. Qin Jinpeng went ahead to inform Chao Yuliang. If the Qin family and the Chao family united, the Sun family would have to kneel down no matter how powerful they were. Xiao Qin didn't know that so many things had happened that night. The next morning, he went to Tang Tang's home to see her. Because she was sick, there was no need to go to the stall. Chapter 245. Tang Tang hadn't woken up yet, but her complexion was much better than before. She was still sleeping soundly. According to the elder heaven ancestor, she should be in the process of detoxification. She would be fine once all the toxins in her body were expelled. Xiao Chen was relieved to see that Tang Tang was fine. After leaving Tang Tang's room, Xiao Chen glanced at the time and ran in the direction of the antique street. Today was the school's physical examination day, and Xiao Chen didn't want to waste any time. It didn't matter to him whether it was a physical examination or not. At the same time, in the Little Hong drugstore, the shopkeeper of the Songning branch of the Hong Chamber of Commerce, Qi Mucheng, was standing respectfully in front of Hong Zhu. Miss Zhu, this is what you asked me to investigate. As he spoke, Tai Mucheng handed a stack of papers to Hong Zhu. Thank you for your hard work, Uncle Tai. Hong Zhu nodded, took the papers, and looked through them carefully. If Xiao Chen was here, he would definitely be very surprised, because the content of the information was actually about Xiao Chen. It could be said that all the information about Xiao Chen from his birth to the present was on it. However, Hong Zhu was a little disappointed when she finished looking through it. The information was basically the same as what she had seen before. There was nothing useful at all. It was written that Xiao Chen was a good-for-nothing, but was the Xiao Chen she knew a good-for-nothing? Seeing Hong Zhu frown, Tai Muching's heart suddenly tightened. Miss Zhu, is there something wrong? Uncle Tai, is there any more in-depth information? For example, what did Xiao Chen do every day? What happened? Can you find someone to find out? Hong Zhu asked. Yes, but only in the near future, Tai Muching said. Tai Muching said, we won't be able to find out anything further than that. At most, we can find out what happened after Xiao Chen was chased out of the Xiao clan. That's fine too. Hong Zhu nodded. Suddenly, his expression changed. He looked at Gu Muching with some seriousness and said, Gu Muching, are you the person in charge of the Honging Group's Songning branch? Tai Muching was taken aback at first, because Hong Zhu had addressed him as Uncle Tai before this. Even if Hong Zhu's status was there, he, Tai Muching, was also an elder of the Hong clan. As a junior, Hong Zhu could not directly address him by his name. This was the most basic form of respect and politeness. However, even though Tai Muching was a little uncomfortable, he did not voice it out. However, when he heard the latter half of Hong Zhu's words, his heart immediately shivered. The Honging Group was the most mysterious organization in the Hong Clan Merchant Association. It was similar to an intelligence organization and a supervisory organization. The intelligence organization was responsible for gathering information on cultivators from all over the world and sending it to the headquarters of the Hong clan. For example, where a peerless genius had appeared, or where a new family had risen, these were all things that the Hong family needed to know. As the largest merchant association that supplied cultivation materials, the Hong family had been able to stand tall for thousands of years because they had their own capabilities. Secretly befriending newcomers and families with potential was an important job. Back then, if it was not for the fact that Hong Zhong, who was currently in charge of this branch of the Hong clan, had befriended a newcomer with potential, the Hong family would have truly become history. However, Hong Zhong had relied on their friendship to invite that newcomer, who had already become the number one in the world, to help out. Only then were the difficulties resolved. Therefore, befriending newcomers with potential also became part of the training of the Hong Clan Merchant Association. The Honging Group was in charge of this mission. As for the supervisory duty, it was to monitor the accounts of the Hong Clan Merchant Association and prevent anyone from stuffing their own pockets. Usually, only one shopkeeper would be selected by the Honging Group out of many branches. This person was undoubtedly the most loyal to the Hong clan. Only those who were loyal to the Hong clan were qualified for this responsibility. In fact, Tai Muching had known about Hong Zhu stuffing his own pockets previously, but he had cooperated. This was actually because of his loyalty to the Hong clan. Hong Zhu was this generation's direct descendant of the Hong clan. Treating her was equivalent to treating the Hong clan. Therefore, Tai Muching had not reported this matter to the higher-ups. However, now that Hong Zhu had pointed out his identity, Tai Muching was extremely shocked. Apart from the current chairman of the Hong Clan Merchant Association, who was also the head of the Hong family, only the leader of the Honging Group, Hong Ying, knew about this identity. Even the members of Hong Ying's team didn't know. They only got in touch with Hong Ying through special channels. Moreover, these people rarely saw Hong Ying's real face. They only knew that Hong Ying was an outstanding descendant of the Hong family that the president had specially nurtured all these years. However, it was a little strange that Hong Zhu knew about this matter. Although Tai Muching also knew that Hong Yen and Hong Zhu were the granddaughters that the chairman doted on the most, there were not many descendants of the Hong clan who were allowed to enter and leave the secular city. Hong Yen and Hong Zhu were exceptions. I know about the matter of the shopkeeper of the Boundless Province branch secretly colluding with the supplier, Hong Zhu said indifferently. Continue to collect evidence. Tai Muching, you've done well. Ah. Tai Muching was completely stunned. His entire body trembled, then he immediately knelt on one knee and said respectfully, Subordinate Tai Muching greets Hong Ying. Get up. Hong Zhu waved his hand. In front of outsiders, you are still Uncle Tai. This subordinate understands. This time, Tai Muching did not have the slightest bit of dissatisfaction. Regardless of whether Hong Zhu was his backer or not, he was Hong Ying, which meant that he was his immediate superior. When it came to Hong Ying, all of them were extremely respectful. Xiao Chen, list him as an important person to befriend and observe, Hong Zhu said to Tai Muching as he placed the information in his hands on the table. Yes. Tai Muching was a little puzzled. What did this Xiao Chen do to deserve this? Previously, he had thought that it was already very impressive for him to attract Miss Zhu's attention. He had not expected that he had attracted Hong Ying's attention instead. Furthermore, being listed as an important person to befriend and observe meant that the treatment that Xiao Chen enjoyed in the Warrior Guild and the Warrior City Square would immediately be upgraded to a VIP member. Of course, this also needed to be done step by step and at the right time. If he suddenly went to Xiao Chen and said, "I am Qi Mucheng, the shopkeeper of the Songning branch of the Hong Chamber of Commerce, I will give you a VIP membership card." Then, Xiao Chen would definitely think that he was either crazy or a swindler, or that he was plotting something. Do as you see fit. Hong Zhu suddenly recalled that Xiao Chen had been humiliated by Chen Iotaphore when he was buying medicine. He suddenly asked, "What about this Chen Iotaphore?" Chen Iotaphore? Qi Mucheng was stunned for a moment before he remembered who it was. If he had not been investigating Xiao Chen recently, he would not have paid attention to who Chen Iotaphore was. This person is the son-in-law of the Sun family in a neighboring city. However, I heard that he had contracted horse stroke and died last night. Although it was a little inelegant to say that he was on horseback to Miss Zhu, Tai Mucheng recalled that Hong Zhu's other identity was Hong Ying, so he didn't mind it at all. He had also handed over the photos of some of the suppliers who had been caught bribing the branch managers to Hong Ying. He reckoned that Hong Ying had already gotten used to it. Horse stroke, huh? What a strange way to die. Hong Zhu was stunned. She had long known that Chen Iotaphore was going to die, but she did not know exactly how he had died. Now that she heard Qi Mucheng say this, she felt that it was rather strange. Speaking of which, it is strange. 3 people from the Sun family have already died, and they were all killed by horse stroke. After paying attention to Chen Iotaphore, Tai Mucheng also paid attention to the Sun family. This was already a habit of his after so many years of intelligence work. Oh. 3 people died? This thing is contagious? Hong Zhu was even more surprised. What happened? Can you tell me? Yes. Tai Mucheng nodded, cleared his throat, and told Hong Zhu about what had happened to the Sun family during this period of time. That's strange. Then you should investigate how these 3 people died. This is the first time I've heard that horse stroke can be contagious. It's most likely that someone did something underhanded. Hong Zhu said, it can actually cause people to die by horse stroke. How awesome. Which demonic sex technique is this? Yes, this subordinate understands. Tai Mucheng responded. Alright, you can go back. This Sun family is too unlucky. Don't do business with them in the future. Hong Zhu's casual words had caused the Sun family to die. Alright, I'll go back and pass down the instructions. Tai Mucheng nodded. If Hong Zhu had spoken to Tai Mucheng with her identity as Miss Zhu, Tai Mucheng would definitely not have agreed. However, under the circumstances that it did not violate her choice, Tai Mucheng would not object to letting Hong Zhu earn some money. After all, it would not harm the interests of the Warrior Guild. Regardless of whether it was stolen goods or not, the value of the goods was there, and the Warrior Guild would not suffer a loss. However, stopping suppliers from supplying goods involved their interests. Even if Hong Zhu was a member of the Hong family, it would not be allowed. Because she could not represent the Hong family. However, Hong Ying was different. Actually, everyone understood that the core figure of the Hong family was President Hong. Although the other vice presidents were also very powerful and impressive, the one with the most authority was none other than Hong Ying, the head of intelligence who had the power to monitor life and death. Hong Ying had spoken. That was, there was a problem with the supplier, and Tai Mucheng had to carry it out unconditionally. After sending Tai Mucheng off, Hong Zhu yawned and returned to her previous lazy and seductive appearance. She supported her chin with one hand and read a book in boredom. Xiao Chen, oh, Xiao Chen, you've really hidden yourself well. I didn't find anything even after investigating you again. Which sect are you a disciple of? Chen Iafu's horse stroke, don't tell me you're the one who caused it. Previously, Hongzhu did not suspect anything. She only thought that Xiao Chen could see the black aura on Chen Iafu's forehead like her. However, ever since she found out about the conflict between Xiao Chen and Chen Iafu at the entrance of the warriors' market, Hongzhu suspected that it might be that brat Xiao Chen's doing. Otherwise, with Xiao Chen's strength, would he be able to tolerate being stepped on like that without retaliating? She then thought about what Xiao Chen said last night. He mocked Chen Iafu for being very useful, but he also told him to be careful and that he might die if he used it too much. Chapter 246. At first, Hongzhu thought it was a joke because she couldn't tell how Chen Iotafor would die, but Xiao Chen knew. Even if Xiao Chen could see the black gas, he couldn't predict it so accurately. Therefore, this guy was the biggest suspect. You are my little Hongzhu, no matter how smart you are, it's never too much. Hongzhu found that she had sorted out some of the clues and happily hummed a little song. She found that she was really more and more interested in Xiao Chen. Originally, the purpose of coming here was very simple, but now, she seemed to be able to discover more things. Xiao Chen ran to the antique street. Not only were there all kinds of antiques, but there were also all kinds of jade wares for sale. Generally, precious jade wares wouldn't be sold in bulk at the counter of the shopping mall. They were all sold here as treasures. The antique street opened very early. It was the custom of Songning City to open early and close early. Every antique market had its own customs, and some places liked to have night markets. Xiao Chen walked from shop to shop. There were many antiques here. Although there were also jade wares in antique shops, there were very few that Xiao Chen needed. In addition, although some of the jade wares were well made, they were actually fakes. They could deceive people who didn't know the industry, but Xiao Chen just touched them casually and stopped looking. There was no spiritual energy in them. This kind of goods, even if it was the real one, Xiao Chen wouldn't need it, not to mention it was fake. Although the spiritual energy in the real jade wares was extremely low, Xiao Chen could still feel it. However, there was no trace of fake jade wares. There were a few jade shops on the antique street, but after Xiao Chen went in, he didn't see any jade wares that he liked. Sure enough, as the Elder Heaven Ancestor said, it was really difficult to find jade full of spiritual energy, let alone ordinary jade wares. This was the last jade artifact shop. Xiao Chen walked out with some disappointment. These jade artifacts were not spirit jades. At the very least, they were not spirit jades on display at the moment. It seems that I have to go to more advanced places in the future, Xiao Chen thought. As he was about to leave, Xiao Chen suddenly felt someone patting him from behind. He looked back and saw a middle-aged man with a somewhat shrewd appearance. What's the matter? Xiao Chen looked at the person in front of him. He didn't know the person in front of him. Little brother, do you want to buy jade? The shrewd man asked in a low voice. How do you know? Xiao Chen frowned and asked. Little brother, I've been observing you for a long time. You obviously didn't come here to look at the jade wares. You don't have the patience to look at the jade wares. So, you must want to buy it, but you haven't found the one you like. Am I right? The shrewd man saw these customers very accurately and hit the nail on the head. You're right, but who are you? Xiao Chen looked at the man and asked with some vigilance. You can call me Old Wu. I'm the owner of the Zhenjin boutique over there. The shrewd man was the owner of the Zhenjin boutique, Wang Wei. However, Wang Wei was his name in secret. In this antique street, his identity was Old Wu. Zhenjin boutique. Xiao Chen glanced at the direction that Wang Wei was pointing at and suddenly lost interest. He turned around and was about to leave. Hey, little brother, don't go. Wang Wei grabbed Xiao Chen. What? Don't you know what kind of goods you have? I don't beat around the bush. I've been to so many shops. Do you think I'm a rookie who doesn't know anything? Xiao Chen rolled his eyes. Most of the jade wares in this Jinjin boutique were fake. There was no spiritual qi in them. They might be able to fool others, but not Xiao Chen. I told you, little brother, you know your stuff. When Wang Wei heard Xiao Chen's words, he didn't get angry. Instead, he laughed. I can't fool you. Little brother, you look like an expert. How can I fool you? Oh. Xiao Chen stopped. You have good stuff? I definitely have good stuff, but it depends on whether little brother dares to take it. Wang Wei said mysteriously. What do you mean? Is there a problem with the source? Xiao Chen suddenly thought of this situation because he had just robbed the Sun family's cart of medicinal herbs. It's from a tomb raider. Wang Wei lowered his voice. Can I take a look? Lead the way. Xiao Chen nodded immediately. Wang Wei was very good at reading people. He knew clearly who really wanted to buy things and who was pretending. In his opinion, Xiao Chen was a customer who really knew his stuff. It just so happened that Wang Wei had a few pieces of good stuff in his hands. However, they were antiques from tomb raiding, so it wasn't easy to sell them. He could only sell them to people who really wanted them and knew their stuff. After entering Jinjin Boutique, Wang Wei brought Xiao Chen to a private room upstairs. Then, he poured a cup of tea for Xiao Chen and said, Little brother, wait a moment. I'll go get it. Xiao Chen nodded. He picked up the teacup and sniffed it. He asked in his heart, Elder Heaven Ancestor, is there a problem with this tea? I don't think there's a problem. Why don't you try it? Elder Heaven Ancestor said. Forget it. Hearing Elder Heaven Ancestor's tone, he wasn't sure, so Xiao Chen didn't want to take the risk. However, after a while, Wang Wei came back with a small box in his hand. He placed it directly on the coffee table in front of Xiao Chen, opened it, and said, Little brother, please have a look. Wang Wei was also a martial artist, so he wasn't worried that someone would rob him. After all, in the secular world, the frequency of martial artists appearing was still very low. Only in the martial artist's own circle would you often see martial artists. This was actually the same reason why the rich were surrounded by rich people. It was undeniable that the box was filled with good stuff. Just from the appearance, one could tell that it wasn't ordinary. Xiao Chen reached out and scanned the jade in the box one by one. Finally, his eyes stopped on a jade ring. Spiritual jade. Xiao Chen's heart was about to jump out at this moment. This was definitely a spiritual jade. Although the spiritual energy inside was not as high as the jade, it was already very good. Xiao Chen didn't hide the fact that he wanted to buy which one he didn't want to buy. After all, everyone who could sit here and look at the goods was a sensible person. Xiao Chen directly picked up the jade thumb ring and played with it in his hand. Little brother, you have good eyesight. This jade ring, according to legend, was used by the first assistant minister of the X dynasty and the first warrior, X Bai. Wang Wei began to explain, this jade ring is quite difficult to get. It is said that this jade ring has the effect of aiding martial arts. Alright, don't say so much useless stuff. Everyone here is smart. Legends and whatnot are not important. What I'm looking at is the quality. Xiao Chen waved his hand impatiently and interrupted Wang Wei's words. An item used by a dead person is extremely unlucky, and you still think it's a good thing. How much is it? Name a price. This, 5 million. Wang Wei stretched out 5 fingers. 5 million? Xiao Chen frowned. To be honest, 5 million was not a lot. Not only was it not a lot, but it was also extremely cheap. However, it also depended on how they were compared. Don't think that Xiao Chen was just a playboy in the past, but he had also followed Qin Jinpeng to the Azure Sea Heavenly Palace before. An antique jade thumb ring was only worth 30 to 50,000, how could it be 5 million? Of course, if he bought it according to the spiritual jade, it would not be expensive. A set of medicinal herbs cost 3 million. A spiritual jade was only worth 5 million. It was really very cheap. Little brother, you are also an expert. You can tell that this is the real thing, right? Wang Wei looked at Xiao Chen's expression and said with some uncertainty. The real thing? Shame on you. Do you think I'm a big shot? Xiao Chen slammed the jade ring on the coffee table. He was not afraid of breaking it. He sneered and said, a jade ring is worth 30 to 50,000. This 5 million is 100 times more. Is it gold-rimmed or imported from Mars? Wang Wei smiled bitterly. He knew that he had met an expert. He could only explain, an ordinary jade ring is naturally only worth 30 to 50,000. However, look at the jade rings used by ancient emperors. There are even those that are sold for tens of millions. This was used by a minister. 5 million is not a high price, right? Do you have an appraisal report? Do you have an expert to verify it? Do you think I will believe you just because you tell me? Buying illegal goods is just a gamble. I can buy it at an auction with this price. Xiao Chen waved his hand and said, I'll give you 1 million. Sell it or not. This, 2 million. Little brother, isn't your bargaining a bit too much? Wang Wei smiled bitterly. Then keep it. Xiao Chen stood up and prepared to leave. All right, I'll give it to you. In fact, in Wang Wei's opinion, 1 million was not a small amount. Illegal goods should not be exposed to the public. If it could be sold, it would be a profit. Some things should not be displayed casually and could not be appraised. Don't think that there were no fakes in ancient tombs. There were fakes in ancient times. Xiao Chen swiped an anonymous bank card. After swiping, he took the jade ring and prepared to leave. Wait, little brother. Wang Wei thought for a moment and stopped Xiao Chen. Is there anything else? Xiao Chen asked. Little brother, do you like jade rings? If I have something similar, do you still want it? Wang Wei asked. Not necessarily. It depends on the color. Xiao Chen did not buy everything. It had to contain spiritual energy. It was not enough just because it looked the same. Help me keep an eye out for it. I will come back after a while. However, it doesn't have to be a jade ring. Any kind of jade is fine, but it's best if it was used by ancient masters. For example, this jade ring from the first warrior. All right, I understand. Little brother, it turns out that you like to collect things that people used. Wang Wei nodded his head confidently. Xiao Chen did not stay for long. He quickly left the antique street and planned to go home to cultivate. Anyway, the school's physical examination might not end in the morning. He had to hurry up. Who knew when the Witch of West Mountain would appear? After running back to the villa, Xiao Chen locked himself in his room. He picked up the jade ring and began to cultivate. At the school, the physical examination had also begun. Yu Xiaochuan hid in the blood collection room excitedly and stared at the results of each test sheet. He was full of anticipation. Chapter 247. In order to see the test results as soon as possible, Yu Xiaochuan arranged for the girls to have their blood tested first, while the boys went to check other items first. The morning passed quickly, and most of the girls had been checked. There was only one fat girl who looked terrible. Yu Xiaochuan slapped his forehead. Damn it, please don't let it be this one. But in his heart, he was hoping that it would be her. Anyway, he could get rid of her after using her for a while. It didn't matter if she was a little fat. As long as it wasn't Jean Bebe. If it was Jean Bebe, it would be really difficult for him. If he married her, his life would be ruined. Moreover, he couldn't get rid of her easily. It would be better to castrate himself. However, the fat girl's result was also not her, which made Yu Xiaochuan very disappointed. As expected, women with mysterious body were not so common. Not to mention a school, they might not even be found in a city. Although Yu Xiaochuan was not surprised by the result, it was still a headache to find the next step. Yu Xiaochuan didn't care about the physical examination in the afternoon. He paid the money and left the hospital. Director Su was a little confused about Yu Xiaochuan's behavior of paying the money but not having a physical examination. However, Yu Shaochuan was so rich that he must have finished the physical examination in advance, so he didn't have to wait in line with others. Since he had nothing to do, Yu Shaochuan planned to go to the warrior guild to see if there was any news about the woman with mysterious Yin body. In the warrior guild, Yu Shaochuan was familiar with medicine master Sunday. Yu Shaochuan had asked him to make medicinal materials before, so he was an acquaintance. He had called him once because of Tang Tang. Therefore, Yu Shaochuan went directly to medicine master Sun's office. "Young master Sun, you're here." Medicine master Sun respected Yu Shaochuan. After all, even if the Sun family became an aristocratic family, they had to maintain a good relationship with other aristocratic families. Now they had become enemies with the Chao family and the Qin family. Although Shao Chen was no longer a member of the Shao family, it was not very likely for him to be on good terms with the Shao family. Yu Shaochuan was known as the leader of the young generation and a gentleman. It would be beneficial for the Sun family's development in the future to make friends with him. Therefore, Medicine Master Sun stood up and greeted him. Medicine Master Sun, you're too kind. I'm just here to take a look. Please have a seat." Yu Shaochuan was flattered by Medicine Master Sun's politeness. It should be known that an apothecary was very important to a clan. Although the elixirs used by cultivators could be bought in the warriors' city square, they were all general-purpose medicinal herbs. With an apothecary, they could make different adjustments to different cultivators, making the elixirs more suitable for their own needs. This was also what the Sun family cultivated later on. The members of the Sun family also stepped into the ranks of martial artists to varying degrees. It was all because Medicine Master Sun concocted spirit herbs for them to temper their bodies and cultivate. "Young Master Kun, are you here for Tang Tang?" Medicine Master Sun thought about it and felt that he had to give Yu Shaochuan some face. However, he was not willing to treat Shao Chen's girlfriend. That Shao Chen had a grudge against the Sun family. "Oh, that? Forget about it." Yu Shaochuan waved his hand and said, "I came here because I have something else to do." "What is it?" "Tell me, young Master Kun. I'll see if I can help." Medicine Master Sun breathed a sigh of relief. As long as he did not have to treat Tang Tang and bow down to Shao Chen, everything else would be fine. "Well, I wonder if Medicine Master Sun has heard of Mysterious Yin Woman?" Yu Shaochuan asked. "Mysterious Yin Woman? A woman with mysterious Yin body?" Medicine Master Sun was slightly stunned and said, "Young Master Kun, why are you asking about this? Although women with mysterious Yin body are rare, they are of no use to us martial artists. Moreover, women with this body are usually unlucky. Unless the man is tough, no one will touch this kind of woman." "Oh, I'm just curious and want to find out." Yu Shaochuan did not care about unlucky things. Once he mastered the Chrysanthemum treasure book, he would be invincible in the world. Bad luck would not matter. Women with this kind of body are hard to find. "I'm afraid I can't help you with this." Medicine Master Sun shook his head. This was beyond his ability. "Oh." Yu Shaochuan was a little disappointed and then said, "By the way, you're a medicine master, so you should know the art of medicine. Say, if I want to test the blood of some women, what's the best reason to look for them? Moreover, they won't be easily detected." Yu Shaochuan did not hide any of this. Even if he were to look for the Lady of Mysterious Yin, no one would suspect anything. Just like the current medicine master Sun, he could not link it to the Chrysanthemum treasured book. Even if Grandfather Tang found out, he would not link it to this. Blood test? This. Young Master Kun, I'm not good at scheming. Medicine Master Sun thought for a moment and said, "If you don't mind, I can introduce you to someone from the streets. This person has some intelligence. You can ask him." "All right, thank you." Yu Shaochuan nodded. Medicine Master Sun picked up the phone and dialed a number. After a while, Red Hair walked in. When he saw Medicine Master Sun, he said respectfully, "Master." Medicine Master Sun had already accepted Red Hair as an in-name disciple. "Red Hair, since you have nothing to do now, follow young Master Kun for a few days." Young Master Kun needs someone with intelligence, and I think you can do it. Thank you for your recommendation, Master. Red Hair will definitely do his best to assist young Master Kun. Red Hair was overjoyed. He had just lost his job and thought that he had no future. He could no longer live such a good life, and he had to return to the street to live the life of a gangster. That was really miserable. If there was no comparison, Red Hair felt that his previous life was already very free and easy. He often extorted hawkers and earned some money, but compared to now, it was really child's play. Following young Master Jean and young Master Chin, not only did he have good food and drinks, but he also had women to play with, and they were all top-grade women. Unexpectedly, another young master came and accepted him as a follower. It was really not bad. Your name is Red Hair? Yu Shaochuan looked at Red Hair and asked. Young Master Kun, my name is Lu Lizao. Red Hair is my nickname. You can call me Red Hair. Red Hair nodded. Lu Lizao, this name of yours is really F***ket up. Yu Shaochuan nodded and said, okay, let me ask you. You said that I want to test the blood of some women. What is the best excuse to find them? And it's not easy to detect? Let me think about it. Red Hair was stunned. He didn't expect Yu Shaochuan to ask such a question. However, in order to make Yu Shaochuan value him, he had to answer even the most inexplicable question, and he had to do his best to answer. Therefore, he thought carefully for a long time. Finally, he patted his head and said, Young Master Kun, I have one. Pfft. You have one? What do you have? Yu Shaochuan was stunned by Red Hair's words. He almost spat it out. Have a child? I have an idea. Red Hair sweated. Then why aren't you saying it? Yu Shaochuan asked. Okay, young Master Kun. Let's do it this way. You see, many girls nowadays like to pursue fame and fortune. Otherwise, why would those talent shows be so popular every time? Why would so many girls sign up for the audition? Red Hair said proudly, when the time comes, we can test their blood. This is reasonable. You mean that I should also organize such an event and then test their blood? What reason should I use? Also, what benefits can the first prize winner get from this event? Yu Shaochuan's eyes lit up after listening. Yes, we can plan an event. With young Master Kun's ability, it shouldn't be difficult, right? Although I still don't know young Master Kun's background, those who can befriend Master are all high-level and powerful people. Red Hair said, as for the blood test, it's very simple. Many women are very impetuous nowadays. They are promiscuous in private and use drugs. We just need to check if they have AIDS or drugs. Such people can't participate in the competition. As for the reward, young Master Kun, you can do whatever you want. Young Master Kun's family should have a family business, right? When the time comes, you can give her an endorsement contract with the family business. It's worth tens of millions. Young Master Kun should have this money, right? You're not bad. Yu Shaochuan nodded. Your idea is very feasible. Follow me from now on. You will be fully in charge of this event. When the time comes, help me with the audition. Okay, no problem. Red Hair was overjoyed. Yu Shaochuan's words meant that he accepted him. Moreover, Yu Shaochuan agreed to his suggestion without thinking. Then the Yu family's capital should be quite strong. Wait, Yu family? Could it be the aristocratic Yu family? Thinking of this, Red Hair subconsciously said, Young Master Kun, you are the Yu families. Yes, I am Yu Shaochuan from the Yu family. Yu Shaochuan nodded. Ah, so it really is. Young Master Kun, don't worry. I will do my best to assist you. Red Hair said as he patted his chest. As they were talking, the phone on Medicine Master Sun's table suddenly rang. Medicine Master Sun picked up the phone and only said one sentence. His expression instantly changed. What? Chen Wuxian called and wants our Sun family to give them an explanation? Medicine Master Sun frowned. This phone call was from Sun Xiaonong. He quickly said, "All right, wait for me, uncle. I will be back immediately." With that, Medicine Master Sun said to Yu Xiaochuan and Red Hair, "I have something to do, so I will leave first. Both of you can go back too." "All right, Medicine Master Sun, I won't disturb you anymore." Seeing Medicine Master Sun's expression, Yu Xiaochuan knew that he probably had something important to do. The three of them left the warriors' market together and parted ways at the entrance. Red Hair followed Yu Xiaochuan to his Audi A6L. "Young Master Kun, what should I do?" Red Hair asked after getting in the car. "I will give you a test standard. Find the person with the most values in her blood and predetermine her as first place," Yu Xiaochuan said. Chapter 248. "All right, no problem." The red-haired man quickly nodded. "Young Master Kun, are you looking for some unspoken rules?" Yu Xiaochuan nodded. This was also considered an unspoken rule. He didn't intend to explain too much to the red-haired man. When the time came, he would just draw some blood and then have intercourse with it. It wouldn't be an exaggeration to say that it was an unspoken rule. "All right then. What about drug addiction and STDs? Do you need to test them one by one?" The red-haired man asked. "Testing those also needs to be done separately. It will take some time. There's no need for that. It's just a formality. I'm mainly looking for women with such numbers." Yu Xiaochuan waved his hand. "All right, then I'll start tomorrow?" The red-haired man asked. "Sure, do it as soon as possible." Yu Xiaochuan nodded. Martial God Chen was actually just a warning to the Sun family that they had gone overboard. They shouldn't think that they could do whatever they wanted with the support of a pharmacist. The Qin family wasn't to be trifled with. If anything really happened to Qin Jinpeng, it would be a fight to the death. The Qin family's backup plan was actually in the warrior guild. After Qin Huanling arrived at the warrior guild today, he went to the warrior market to visit the shopkeeper, Tai Muching. Although the warrior market was built in cooperation between the warrior guild and the Hong family's commerce, only the president of the warrior guild and the shopkeeper could participate in the management. The vice president didn't have the right to interfere with the operation of the warrior market. Chen Huanling came here to discuss with Tai Muching, hoping that Tai Muching would give him some face. "Shopkeeper Tai, I've been in this position for so long, but I haven't visited you yet. I'm sorry for my lack of manners. Didn't I find an opportunity to come?" Chen Huanling's arrival surprised Tai Muching. Usually, the vice president and the warrior market rarely interacted. The purpose was to avoid arousing suspicion. After all, this wasn't within their jurisdiction. Only the president could interfere. President Chen, what a rare guest. I wonder what advice you have for me?" Tai Muching said politely. Although they weren't subordinates, they were colleagues. He had to give Tai Muching some face. As for Qin Huanling, apart from Qin Jinkuan's death, it seemed that the Qin family's development was not bad. Especially the marriage with the Qin family, it would increase the Qin family's status once again. It might even become the #1 aristocratic family in Songning in the future. Therefore, the Qin family was also on Hong Ying's list. Tai Muching was also in charge of contacting them. "How would I dare to guide you? Shopkeeper Tai should be the one guiding me." Chen Huanling smiled and said, "Since it's like this, I won't beat around the bush. I'll get straight to the point. I came here because I have a request for Manager Tai." "Oh? What's the matter?" Gue Muching asked curiously. He didn't think that the Qin family would ask him for anything. With Tai Muching's high-level membership card, there was no need for Tai Muching to interfere at all. "It's like this. I heard that the Warriors Market Square is doing business with the Sun family of the neighboring city." Chen Huanling probed. "That's right, there is such a matter." "What do you mean, President Chen?" Gue Muching asked calmly. "This Sun family has a low moral character. They started off by swindling people. I hope that shopkeeper Tai won't do business with them. These people have no bottom line. Who knows if they will scam shopkeeper Tai? At this point, Chen Huanling paused for a moment and said, "Of course, I said so much because the Sun family and our Chen family have a grudge. I hope that shopkeeper Tai can give me some face." Chen Huanling's previous words were actually nothing more than fabrications. Although the Sun family had a low moral character, they wouldn't dare to swindle the warriors' market. They didn't have the guts to do so either. He only said all this to give Tai Muching a reason to get rid of the Sun family. Is that so? Tai Muching pretended to ponder. Actually, Tai Muching wouldn't agree so easily under normal circumstances. Even if the Chen family was one of the clans that he wanted to befriend, he still needed Hong Ying's final approval before he could make a decision. However, Hong Zhu had long since planned to get rid of the Sun family. Agreeing to Chen Huanling's request was just a small favor. After a while, he raised his head and said, "It's rare for President Chen to ask, so I'll give you some face." "Thank you, shopkeeper Tai." Chen Huanling originally thought that he would have to spend a lot of time persuading Tai Muching. Who would have thought that it would be settled with just a few words? Didn't they say that Tai Muching was selfless and wouldn't easily violate his principles? How come this time, no matter what, it was good that he agreed? Chen Huanling owed Tai Muching a favor. Since Chen Huanling's goal was achieved, he didn't stay any longer. "Then, I'll take my leave, shopkeeper Tai." "All right. Take care, President Chen." Tai Muching nodded and dialed Medicine Master Sun's number. "Who is it? Spit it out if you have something to say." Medicine Master Sun was in a hurry to drive back, so he used Bluetooth to answer the call. He didn't look at the caller ID and asked impatiently, "I'm Tai Muching." Tai Muching frowned and said plainly. This Medicine Master Sun was getting more and more arrogant and despotic. If it wasn't for the fact that Medicine Master Gu was the only one left in the warriors' market, Tai Muching really wouldn't want to use him. "Ah, shopkeeper Tai." Medicine Master Sun was shocked. He quickly stopped his car by the roadside and almost crashed into an electric pole. The Sun family's medicinal herbs are not up to standard. Don't bring them in again in the future. Tai Muching wanted to explain, but seeing Medicine Master Sun's attitude, he couldn't be bothered to explain anymore. "Ah." Medicine Master Sun was stunned. The Sun family's supplier status was revoked? How was that possible? Medicine Master Sun had put in a lot of effort to obtain this qualification. In the end, Tai Muching's words made it disappear? Could it be because of his disrespect just now? Thinking of this, Medicine Master Sun quickly said, "I'm sorry, shopkeeper Tai. I was driving just now and didn't know it was you calling." About the Sun family's medicinal herbs, the headquarters sent someone to do a spot check. The Sun family's medicinal herbs are not up to standard. "Do you understand what I mean?" Tai Muching said. "Ah. I understand." Medicine Master Sun felt sad. Spot check by the headquarters? That was really bad luck. Not only that, the Sun family would probably be blacklisted by the entire warriors' market. As for whether Tai Muching was spouting nonsense, it would be fine as long as they went to other warriors' market to provide the bidding documents. If they were rejected directly, they would be blacklisted. Therefore, Tai Muching wouldn't lie to him about this. This made Medicine Master Sun feel like he had fallen into an ice cellar. However, when he came back to his senses, he quickly started his car and sped toward the Sun family. This news was much more serious than Marshal God Chen asking for an explanation from the Sun family. To put it bluntly, the Sun family would be finished in the future. Medicine Master Sun hurried back to the Sun family and went straight to the meeting room. At this moment, the Sun family was already seated. When Sun Xiaonong saw Medicine Master Sun, he said, "Yu Kai, this Chen family is too despicable. They can rob our medicinal herbs, but they want us to give an explanation when we dealt with Qin Jinpeng? Isn't this too much? Even the vice president of the Warriors Guild can't do this, right? Uncle, don't say any more. Let's put this matter aside for now." Something big happened at the Warriors Market. Medicine Master's son waved his hand and said. What do you mean? What happened? Sun Xiaonong was stunned and asked. Shopkeeper Tai of the Warriors Market just informed me that the Sun family supplier qualification has been cancelled. They said that our goods did not pass the spot check by the headquarters. Medicine Master's son helplessly repeated Tai Muqing's words to Sun Xiaonong. How could it be so coincidental? Our medicinal herbs are not particularly bad, just a little worse than the Xia family's. How could it be such a coincidence that the people from the headquarters came to do a spot check at this time? Sun Xiaonong was shocked. He stood up and cried out involuntarily. I'm also a little puzzled, but now that things have happened, we should think of a way. Medicine Master's son said, I guess our Sun family will be blacklisted by the National Warriors Market. If we want to do business in the Warriors Market, it will be basically impossible. Could it be Qin Huanling? Sun Xiaonong suddenly said, only he has a grudge against our Sun family. Yesterday, we just dealt with Qin Jinpeng, and today, our supplier qualification to the Warriors Market was cancelled. Isn't this too coincidental? Indeed. Medicine Master's son nodded after listening. Uncle, if you didn't say it, I really wouldn't have thought that Qin Huanling wanted to mess with us. It's not difficult to apply for a spot check from the headquarters through Tai Muqing. This is equivalent to killing our Sun family. There's no need to think about it. It must be. Sun Xiaonong said hatefully, although our medicinal herbs are worse than the Sun family's, the Xia family's medicinal herbs are not completely qualified. Many of them are not up to standard. Why is it that only our Xia family was cancelled, but the Sun family was not? Isn't this clearly targeting us? Yes, let me ask. Medicine Master's son took a deep breath and dialed Medicine Master Ji's number. Medicine Master's son, what's the matter? Medicine Master Gu asked. Old Gu, do you know that the Sun family has been cancelled as a supplier? Medicine Master's son asked. I just sent out a notice. Everyone in the Warriors Market knows about it, Medicine Master Gu said. Does anyone else besides the Sun family know about the cancellation? Medicine Master's son asked. No, only the Sun family. The cancellation was very sudden. We don't know the reason. We only know that the Sun family's medicinal herbs are not up to standard, Medicine Master Gu said. Okay, I got it. Medicine Master's son hung up the phone. His face was terrible. Sure enough, it was targeted at the Sun family. Fast, ruthless, and accurate. The Xia family was not affected, which meant that the spot check was just an excuse. The goal was to punish the Sun family. How is it? Sun Xiaonong asked quickly after Medicine Master's son hung up the phone. It's only our family. The Xia family is still fine. Medicine Master's son sighed. I'm afraid it's really the Qin family. Chapter 249. Sun Xiaonong's face also became extremely pale. It's over, it's over. Impulsiveness is the devil. If I had known, I wouldn't have done it to Qin Jinpeng. Sun Yuming and Sun Yuli were also somewhat silent. Previously, the Sun family was showing off, feeling good about themselves, and bursting with self-confidence. Who could have thought so far ahead? Only now did they realize that the Sun family was far from those real aristocratic families. Although the Sun family was rich, they did not have a worthy martial artist. They were bullied, but they could do nothing. Of course, although everyone was a little regretful, the urgent matter was not regret, but to think of countermeasures. What should the Sun family do in the future? They were removed from the Warriors Market, and they were hated by the Qin family. Where would they go in the future? Seeing that the Sun family was about to reach the peak of the family, from a small business family to an aristocratic family, Sun Xiaonong's original plan was very good. First, the Sun family obtained the supply share of all the Warriors Market, then earned money to hire martial artists, and then, with the help of Medicine Master's son, let the third generation of the family embark on the road of martial arts cultivation. In this way, it would not take many years for the Sun family to surpass the Xia family. It would not be a problem to surpass the original aristocratic families, and it would not be impossible to replace the number one aristocratic family in Songning City, the Qing family. But now, all of this had become a dream. The Sun family was beaten back to its original state, and they could not make a comeback. This was the most frustrating and helpless. Father, I think we are not at the end of the line. Although we can't do it now, it is only because we have offended the Qin family. What if we rely on one of the aristocratic families in Songning City? Sun Yuming was the second-generation boss after all, and his words were also very standard. He found the problem immediately. The enemy of an enemy was a friend. The aristocratic families in Songning City were not monolithic, and they were all competitors. As long as they relied on a family that had a bad relationship with the Qin family, then the Sun family might have a chance to make a comeback. Oh. Sun Xiaonong was slightly stunned. At this time, Medicine Master Sun suddenly slapped his thighs and said, "Yes, our Sun family can endure hardships, pretend to rely on an aristocratic family, and then slowly accumulate strength. Maybe we can swallow that aristocratic family in one fell swoop, and then replace it as the new generation aristocratic family." Yes. Mingming and Yu Kai are right. Sun Xiaonong finally breathed a sigh of relief after listening. It seemed that the Sun family still had a chance. At that time, the Sun family still had hope to rise again. Father, if that's the case, we should find a family that isn't particularly strong. It would be best if it's a family that's on the decline. Otherwise, even if they don't lack us, they might not be able to value us. Not to be outdone, Sun Yuli said, moreover, if we want to replace them in the future, the other party must not be very strong. Otherwise, it will not be so easy for us to annex the main family. Good, that's a good analysis. Sun Xiaonong was very relieved. He didn't expect the Sun family to think of a countermeasure so quickly, and it was a very feasible countermeasure. Yu Kai, you are the pharmacist of the martial artist market square in Songning City. You have more contact with the aristocratic families in Songning City. Tell me, what's their structure? Which family is weaker? Which family will we rely on to have a better future? Okay, uncle, let me think about it. Pharmacist's son took a deep breath and was lost in thought. Then, he said as if he was talking to himself, the Qing family is definitely not going to make it. Nowadays, the Qing family is like the sun in the sky. Although Qing Zhongxian has disappeared, Qing Zhongming and Qing Zhongfan are the backbone of the family. Qing Mingxiang, the third generation, is also an outstanding talent of the young generation, the Jin family. This family is a little sick. All the members of the family are a little crazy. It's better to stay away from them. That Golden Fur Lion King and his granddaughter Jean Bebe are not good people. If we cooperate with them, we won't even know how we die. I'm more optimistic about the Xiao family. However, because we have a hostile relationship with the good-for-nothing of the Xiao family, Xiao Chen, I'll think about whether there are any suitable families for this family. The Chao family is definitely out of the question. With Chao Yuliang, there's no need to think about it. The same goes for the Qin family. We can also exclude them. The Zhu family. Zhu Yingxiong is also Xiao Chen's younger brother. Besides, the Zhu family has suddenly become powerful. With the old ancestor of the Zhu family, they are now in the period of development. They don't need us to surrender to them. They are already thriving. The Yu family. Yu Shaochuan is known as the leader of the young generation. Besides, Yu Shaochuan is a hypocrite who is best at scheming. If we surrender to them, Yu Shaochuan may backstab us. The Tang clan, on the other hand, has some relations with me. I was the one who cured their daughter, Tang Tang. However, I didn't cure her well, nor did I cure her badly. She became a fatty. However, the only problem now is that the Yu clan and the Tang clan haven't officially signed the marriage contract. The relationship between the two clans is also very ambiguous. Although the Tang clan can't be said to be thriving day by day, they haven't regressed either. And our biggest advantage is business, but the Tang family has their own business channels, which are also very complete. If we go, it will only be the icing on the cake. we won't be valued. The Lu family is an underworld family. It's best not to get involved with this kind of family. Otherwise, you might get into trouble and be annexed by others. You can't do anything about this kind of family being unreasonable. The rest are the Zheng family of the former Zheng's martial arts school, and the Shin family and Qi family in Songning City. But the Shin family and the Qi family are big and don't care about us at all. And the Zheng family is no longer an aristocratic family. Even if we replace them, it's useless, and they can't protect the Sun family. So, after thinking about it, only the Shao family is the most suitable? After listening to Sun Yotsai's analysis, Sun Xiaonong frowned. Yes, in fact, in my mind, the most ideal family is the Shao family. Why? Uncle, listen to my analysis slowly. Sun Yukai nodded and said, right now, the Shao family is a family that is going downhill. Before, the Shao family was one of the top 5 aristocratic families. But since the second generation Shao Feng disappeared, the Shao family's Shao Chen was kicked out of the family. What does the Shao family have? Although Shao Hai's strength is not bad, he is only a stage 7 inner force warrior. And he is still a daughter. When the time comes, he will be married off. It can be said that the Shao family will be extinct in the future. And most importantly, the Shao family's business has just started, and it is supported by Shao Hai alone. In the past, there was Shao Feng to share the family's affairs, so Shao Hai could still concentrate on the business. Now, he has to manage the family's affairs and business. Moreover, I also know a big secret, that is, Shao Yuanshan won't be able to live for long. What? Medicine Master Sun's words shocked Sun Xiaonong. Isn't Shao Yuanshan a stage 9 inner force warrior? How come he won't be able to live for long? Logically speaking, when a warrior reaches stage 8 inner force, it is not as simple as just improving their strength. Once their inner force reaches stage 8 inner force, their lifespan will also increase. It is very easy to live to 100 years old. And Shao Yuanshan is only in his 60s. Why is he dying? Hee, others don't know, but I know. Because he asked me and old Gu to treat him. Medicine Master Sun laughed evilly and said, of course, this is a secret of the warrior market. If you are not one of us, I will not casually say it. This concerns the reputation of the warrior market, and this is a matter of life and death for our Sun family. Even if I say it, you have to keep it a secret. Okay. Sun Xiaonong glanced at the people present. Other than Sun Yukai, there was Sun Yuming and Sun Yoli. Sun Yumao was sad about Chen Iotafor's accidental death, so he did not attend the meeting. Don't worry, father. Brother Yukai, we will not say anything. Sun Yuming and Sun Yoli quickly said. Actually, Shao Yuanshan was poisoned by a kind of poison. This kind of poison isn't a big deal normally, but when you cultivate, you will feel a tightness in your chest, and your strength will slowly decrease. I reckon that Shao Yuanshan is already a stage 7 inner strength martial artist. Once he drops down from a stage 1 inner strength martial artist, he won't be far from death, unless a deity can save him. Medicine Master Sun said, this poison is very overbearing, and there is no antidote. At least, Medicine Master Gu and I have no solution. Oh, this is good news. Shao family is going downhill, but if Shao Yuanshan dies, will Shao Chen take over? If Shao Chen comes back to take over, we still can't swallow up Shao family. Sun Xiaonong asked. Shao Chen? A good for nothing. If Shao Yuanshan dies, with Shao Hai's intellect, killing them is just a matter of minutes. Medicine Master Sun said with disdain, don't forget what I do. Poison Shao Hai, and after he dies, we will deal with Shao Chen. At that time, the great Shao family will belong to our Sun family, and our Sun family can rise again. At that time, we will replace the Shao family, and we will not be afraid of the Chen family or the Chao family. We are also one of the 4 big and 5 small families. What can they do to us? Even the warriors' market will have to reevaluate our strength. Yes, what you said makes sense. Sun Xiaonong slowly nodded. Famous, beneficial, what do you think? How about we go and surrender to the Xiao family? I agree. Sun Yuming listened to Sun Yotsai's analysis and felt that it was very reliable. What we are lacking now is Xiao Chen's side. What if the Xiao family doesn't accept us because of Xiao Chen? Sun Yoli said with some worry. This is not very likely. First, Xiao Chen has been kicked out of the Xiao family, and his matters have nothing to do with the Xiao family. I don't think his life or death has much to do with the Xiao family. Second, the people who have conflicts with Xiao Chen are Sun Rongjin, Sun Rongqin, and Chen Iofo. They are already dead, and the rest of the Sun family has no hatred with Xiao Chen, right? Sun Yukai said. Chapter 250. Alright, since there's no problem, then it's settled. However, we still need you to take care of this matter. Only you can get in touch with the Xiao family. Go and see if it's possible. If it's possible, our Sun family's business network can be a subsidiary of the Xiao family. At that time, hee. Sun Xiaonong sneered. I understand, uncle. Leave it to me. Medicine Master Sun nodded and agreed. With his identity as a medicine master, it wasn't difficult to get in touch with the Sun family. He could easily get in touch with Xiao Yuanshan. The Sun clan had decided on their future direction and restored their former stability. Medicine Master Sun went back to work, while the Sun clan began to reorganize their businesses. They suspended their business of purchasing medicinal herbs because it was useless now. The Warriors Market Square did not accept their medicinal herbs at all. The Sun family received the news, and so did the Xia family. When Xia Chaonan heard the news, his first reaction was disbelief. Because the Sun family had Medicine Master Sun, who was blessed by the heavens. How could the Warriors Market remove the Sun family's qualification as a supplier? Could it be the White Fox? This was Xia Chaonan's first thought. After all, the White Fox was the only one who had attacked the Sun family recently. 3 people from the Sun family were killed by wind on horseback. This was a huge move. However, did the White Fox have the ability to influence the decision of the Warriors Market? The only person who could make such a decision was Tai Muching. However, Xia Chaonan and Tai Muching had been doing business for many years. He knew Tai Muching's character very well. Tai Muching was an upright and strict person. He was loyal to the Hong Chamber of Commerce and wouldn't interfere with the normal operation of the Warriors Market because of selfishness. He definitely wouldn't listen to someone else and remove the Sun family's qualification as a supplier. Even if he didn't care about the Sun family's reputation, Medicine Master Sun was still the pillar of the Warriors Market. However, Xia Chaonan thought of a bold possibility. He looked at Xia Chaonan and Xia Huang and said, "Do you think that the White Fox is a superpower user and can influence the thoughts of others?" "I'm afraid that's the case." Xia Chaobei nodded. "If the wind can kill people, it should be able to affect other people's thoughts." Damn, this is too awesome. It sounds like a sci-fi movie. Xia Huang sighed, but I also think it's the work of the White Fox hero. It must be. I'll get Xia Fei to thank her. Xia Chaonan said as he picked up the phone. Xiao Chen naturally knew that the Sun family was finished, and the Xia family had become the dominant family again. At this moment, he was cultivating crazily. The morning passed in the blink of an eye. At noon, Xiao Chen called Xing Menjing and found out that he only finished the physical examination for the girls in the morning. He still had to continue the physical examination in the afternoon, so he simply didn't go to school. However, with the help of the jade ring, Xiao Chen felt that the effect of his cultivation was obviously much stronger than before. However, he was still one step away from the 5th level of the Qi refinement stage. However, he was not far from it. He was already at the peak of the 4th level of the Qi refinement stage. He only needed a little more to step into the 5th level of the Qi refinement stage. Phew. When Xiao Chen heard the sound of a car coming from outside the villa, he knew that the eldest miss had returned. So he stopped his cultivation and got up to leave the room. As expected, Qing Menjing was back, and Jean Bebe was with her. However, after Jean Bebe sent Qing Menjing off, she said goodbye to Xiao Chen and drove away. I'm exhausted. Xiao Chen, come and help me carry my bag. Qing Menjing said as she threw the bag in her hand to Xiao Chen. I've been busy for the whole day, but I've carried this bag for nothing. Why is the school suddenly having a physical examination? Xiao Chen was a little puzzled. There was no notice at all for the sudden physical examination. Who knows? But I inquired about it later. It seems that Yu Xiaochuan is sponsoring it. I don't know what's wrong with him, but he's sponsoring a physical examination for everyone, including blood tests and x-rays. Qing Menjing complained as she walked into the villa. She threw herself on the sofa, kicked off her slippers, and said to Xiao Chen, help me turn on the TV. Oh. Xiao Chen put Qing Menjing's bag aside and turned on the TV. But he was thinking in his heart, Yu Xiaochuan is sponsoring it? Blood tests? What does he mean? Is he looking for something? Is he looking for a lady of mysterious Yin? The more Xiao Chen thought about it, the more likely it was. Because Yu Xiaochuan had issued this task before, and the method of blood tests was told to him by Xiao Chen. Therefore, Xiao Chen suddenly thought of this. It turns out that he wants to practice the chrysanthemum treasure book. I wonder if he has found the lady of mysterious Yin that he needs. Just as he was thinking about it, he turned on the TV. The local TV station was broadcasting an advertisement. If you have a dream, it will definitely come true. I'm the spokesperson. A large-scale talent show is starting. I'm the spokesperson. I speak for myself, this kind of talent show was endless. Every once in a while, there would be a new show. Xiao Chen was already used to it. However, this show was actually local. When Xiao Chen saw the sponsor at the bottom right corner of the TV, he was stunned. It was actually the Yu family's Buchuan group. The Yu family's company was very scattered in the first few years. However, these years, the company had formed a scale and began to form a group. They reorganized and formed a new Buchuan group. This also showed that the next successor of the Yu family was Yu Buchuan. Otherwise, the name of the group would not be named after him. As long as your appearance meets the requirements and you are healthy, you can sign up. The TV was still blabbering non-stop. Healthy? Hee, Xiao Chen was suddenly happy. Wasn't this still a blood test? He knew what Yu Xiaochuan was going to do. It was estimated that no one met his requirements in today's physical examination. He had no choice but to use a talent show to expand the scope of the audition. As long as one could pass the audition and be chosen, they could become the spokesperson of the Buchuan group. It was estimated that Yu Xiaochuan was going to use the unspoken rules. Even if the person who met the requirements did not look good, they would still become the first and successfully become the spokesperson. Shaking his head, Xiao Chen did not pay attention to him. If he wanted to practice, then let him practice. At least for now, Yu Xiaochuan was not his enemy. Moreover, the elder heaven ancestor said that his mental cultivation method was even more awesome than the chrysanthemum treasure book, so he was not afraid of him. What's so good about this advertisement? Help me change the channel. Qing Menjing said in boredom. You're not going to participate in this event where I'm the spokesperson? Xiao Chen asked. I'm not that bored. Qing Menjing said uninterestedly, quickly change the channel. Okay. Xiao Chen changed the channel. It happened to be the recently popular TV series, Campus Belle's Bodyguard. Qing Menjing watched it with relish. Speaking of which, in the past few days, Lu Zhenming was also cramming for this film. He also sent a WeChat message to the author, Fishman 2, asking for a role. Originally, he did not expect that Fishman 2 could reply to him alone, but he did not expect that he really received a reply. Hello, Student Lu. I have written down your request, but there is no suitable role for you in the Campus Belle. I will arrange a role for you in the next novel. I guarantee that it will be very bad *SS, and the appearance rate will be very high. Lu Zhenming looked at the message and was ecstatic. He planned to show it to Qing Menjing at school tomorrow. Is this the rhythm of being the protagonist? This made him overjoyed, so he immediately replied, "Hello, Fishman 2, I have another request. Please help me fulfill it. The female protagonist in the next novel, let her be called Qing Menjing, okay?" "Okay. I have written it down." Soon, Fishman 2's message quickly replied. "Wahahaha, Fishman 2 is so considerate of me." Lu Zhenming thought for a while and replied, "I have another request." "Can you fulfill it?" "Add a character called Xiao Chen. Make the setting more miserable. It's best if it is a good-for-nothing. Then Lu Zhenming will often find trouble with him." "Oh, okay. I have also written it down." Fishman 2 replied. "Wahahaha, I am the protagonist." Lu Zhenming jumped 3 feet high. He was ready to show off to Qing Menjing tomorrow. As Xiao Chen was preparing to go to the kitchen to cook, the phone in the house rang. Xiao Chen went back to the room to answer the phone. It was actually CFA. "CFA, what's the matter?" asked Xiao Chen. "White Fox Hero, thank you." CFA was a little excited. To be honest, she was shocked when she heard the news that the Sun family's qualification had been revoked. She didn't expect White Fox Hero to be so powerful and solve the problem once and for all. "Thank me for what?" Xiao Chen was stunned. "The Sun family's qualification as a supplier has been revoked. In the future, only the CF family will be there." "Thank you." CFA said, "But White Fox Hero, don't worry. Our CF family will not be short of the 10 million every month. Although the matter has been resolved, this is the reward you deserve." Xiao Chen was a little surprised. The Sun family's qualification was revoked? Why? However, he didn't say that he didn't do it himself. Instead, he said, "I took someone's money to eliminate a disaster. Now that the matter has been resolved, why are you still giving me money? Do you want me to work for your CF family for a long time? How would I dare? My father wants to hire you as a guest elder of our CF family. The salary is 10 million. CFA said, "Usually, it's just a title." Xia Chaonan didn't stop giving Xiao Chen money just because the matter was resolved. It was because he knew that if White Fox wanted to make money, he could just drag it on and not solve it. If he solved it a little every month, he could always make money. But now, the matter had been resolved. Xia Chaonan wouldn't do such an ungrateful thing. Therefore, he made this proposal. Firstly, it was to express his gratitude to White Fox Hero. Secondly, he could also build a good relationship with White Fox Hero. It wouldn't cause their relationship to become strangers because of the end of the mission. Then I won't be disrespectful. Xiao Chen was originally short of money. The Xia family was once again the dominant family. He didn't lack 10 million, so Xiao Chen agreed. Chapter 251. However, Xiao Chen was a little puzzled. Who helped me? Or did someone else take down the Sun family for other reasons? This was unknown. White Fox Hero, can you influence other people's thoughts? CFA asked curiously. Xiao Chen was surprised. Who told you that? There are not many people who can make Tai Mucheng, the shopkeeper of the warrior market, change his mind, unless you can influence his thoughts. CFA said, Mr. White Fox is a superpower user. It should be possible, right? After listening, Xiao Chen suddenly felt a little dumbfounded. He thought that the CF family had discovered something, but it turned out to be a wild guess. Xiao Chen could really influence other people's thoughts, so he was particularly nervous just now. Hee, think whatever you want. Xiao Chen said vaguely. So it's true? CFA thought about it. Then, can White Fox influence me at that time? Can he make me change my mind? However, CFA didn't say this in the end. First, it was not good to say it on the phone. If she wanted to say it, she would say it in person. Second, she hadn't decided whether to tell White Fox Hero or not. If you think it's true, then it's true. Xiao Chen smiled. Then, can you come over when you have time? Forget it. It's nothing. Xia Fei couldn't make a decision in the end. She and White Fox Hero were not very familiar. She was also afraid that White Fox Hero would mistakenly think that she wanted to seduce him, so she didn't say it. Xiao Chen was a little puzzled, but since Xia Fei didn't want to say it, he naturally wouldn't force her. He shook his head with a bitter smile. Xiao Chen said, "That's fine. Call me if there's anything." "Okay, no problem." Xia Fei nodded. After hanging up the phone, Xiao Chen set the timer for the electric pot and then went to cook for the Mississippi. Nothing happened that night. The next morning, Xiao Chen went to Tang Tang's residence again and saw her. Tang Tang's face looked better. Xiao Chen asked the Elder Heaven Ancestor, how long will it take for Tang Tang to wake up? Soon. It should be around this time tomorrow, around 4 or 5 o'clock in the morning. The Elder Heaven Ancestor estimated. But it's hard to say. It has to do with each person's constitution. Well, as long as you're okay. Xiao Chen tucked her in and left her house. Without Tang Tang, Xiao Chen didn't bother to go to the morning market street to set up a stall. Now Xiao Chen didn't care about the income from selling breakfast on the morning market street. The reason why he insisted on going there every day was that Tang Tang was there. It had become a habit of Xiao Chen. The days with Tang Tang were very happy. Xiao Chen didn't know if it was like a person. It was not like it. In short, it was a very strange feeling. He didn't have the palpitation of his heart for Shen Jingxian, but there was a strange warmth and satisfaction. It seemed that he would sell breakfast here for a lifetime. Xiao Chen was also willing, so Xiao Chen would stick to it until now. Now that Tang Tang was sick, Xiao Chen had no interest, which reminded Xiao Chen of a saying that it didn't matter whether he sold fried dough sticks or not. What mattered was who he sold them with. However, not long after he left Tang Tang's house, Xiao Chen's cell phone rang. Who was looking for him so early in the morning? Xiao Chen glanced at the caller ID. It was actually a call from the SIM card of his main body. Moreover, it was Chen Jinpeng who was calling. "Little Shack, why are you looking for me? Don't you sleep so early in the morning?" asked Xiao Chen. Boss Xiao Chen, let me tell you a piece of good news. The Sun family that Sun Rongjin, who teased Lin Kuer, is from, had my dad make a deal with them and have their qualifications as suppliers to the Warriors Guild revoked. They can go back and cry their hearts out. Offending boss Xiao Chen is the same as seeking death. In order to make Xiao Chen feel that he was not too deliberate, Chen Jinpeng had such good news to show off. "Oh, really? That's good, but it has nothing to do with me. You just want this?" Xiao Chen secretly thought in his heart. Could it be that Chen Jinpeng's dad helped me indirectly? This was really a lucky hit. It's like this. There is something that is a little dangerous, but I think it is also an opportunity. With boss Xiao Chen's strength, you will not let it go. Chen Jinpeng also learned to be smart this time. He learned to suppress first and then let it go. What is it? If you have something to say, say it. Xiao Chen frowned. Do you need to pay for your phone? It has been almost a minute. It's a monthly fee. Chen Jinpeng was stunned. I'll freaking complain that you're wasting my electricity. Xiao Chen said. It's like this. Isn't the person who died in the car race with you called Li Shanpao? He has a junior called Lin Chao. He is not satisfied, so he wants to compete with you again. Of course, it is not a free competition. There is also a reward. Chen Jinpeng said. He, Chao Yuliang, and Li Shaning had discussed it. They would put the blame on Lin Chao. Anyway, the person who took revenge was Lin Chao. If Xiao Chen died, the Xiao family and the Qing family would know that Xiao Chen died because of Lin Chao. It had nothing to do with the Li family. Although Lin Chao knew it was a trap, he had to jump into it. If he didn't jump, Li Shannying would kill him first. He wouldn't have kept him alive until now. On the other hand, if the car race with Xiao Chen ended, he still had a chance. Li Shannying would give him a sum of money to go abroad. By then, he would be able to go abroad. No matter how bad *SS the Xiao family was, they were only limited to Songning City. Not to mention that he would go abroad. Therefore, Lin Chao didn't object to this reason. Qin Jinpeng told Xiao Chen. Anyway, the pros and cons had been told to Xiao Chen. Whether Xiao Chen followed was his own business. It had nothing to do with Qin Jinpeng. In order to ensure that he wouldn't rely on him in the future, he also secretly recorded the phone call. Lin Chao. How much is the reward? Xiao Chen found it a little funny. Did he come up with a new trick because he didn't kill me last time? Racing again? Sure, but Xiao Chen said, I'm not interested in money recently. My level has increased. If you want to gamble, you can do it. Get something else. What? Qin Jinpeng was stunned. Recently, I've been liking ancient jade, especially the jade used by famous warriors. I heard that if you wear these things on your body, you can become a warrior. You also know that I plan to cultivate to become a warrior. Xiao Chen said, do you have it? If you don't look for me. I've been collecting ancient jade recently. I don't have time to do anything else. It was better to look for it together. If he wanted money, he still had to buy jade in the end. It was better to let Qin Jinpeng and the others think of a way together. With such an excuse, Xiao Chen would feel sorry for himself if he didn't blackmail him. Ancient jade. Qin Jinpeng was a little stunned. It must be used by famous martial artists. Where can I find it? It's too difficult. Can't I give you more gambling money? Forget it. I'll look for it myself. You can find someone else to race. Xiao Chen said directly, I'm not short of money recently. *MN. Not short of money? A while ago, you were making money everywhere like a mad dog. Now, you're not short of money anymore. However, Qin Jinpeng had no choice. After listening to Xiao Chen, he could only say, okay, I'll try. Then call me when you have news. Xiao Chen hung up the phone. Qin Jinpeng held the phone helplessly. Chao Yuliang and Li Shannying were waiting for the news. How is it? Did Xiao Chen agree? What ancient jade? This guy suddenly said that he wanted ancient jade used by famous martial artists. I don't have that kind of thing. Qin Jinpeng said, he said that he is not short of money recently. I don't know who said that the ancient jade used by famous martial artists can help him cultivate. Isn't this nonsense? It's also the first time I've heard of such a strange effect. Li Shannying said, but this is nothing. Our Li family has a lot of antiques. There are also many things used by famous masters. I'll ask someone to bring a few. Let him choose then. It doesn't matter anyway. If he dies, everything will still be mine. That's good. Qin Jinpeng breathed a sigh of relief. I'll call him back. After that, Qin Jinpeng dialed Xiao Chen's phone again. Why are you calling again? Don't you know that my cell phone is almost out of battery? Buy a power bank and send it to me. Don't waste my cell phone battery. Xiao Chen picked up the phone and said. Okay, I'll buy one for you later. Qin Jinpeng agreed without thinking. A power bank didn't cost much. He continued, it's like this, Boss Xiao Chen, I've discussed it with Li Chao. He's been racing all these years, and he's won a lot of things. There's really an ancient jade used by a martial artist. When the time comes, he'll bring it over. Will you race? Okay, when? When Xiao Chen heard that there was an ancient jade, he naturally agreed. Is this Saturday okay? Qin Jinpeng asked. Yes, where? Xiao Chen didn't care. Any time was fine. I'll tell you when Lin Chao decides. Qin Jinpeng said, if you agree, then I can tell Lin Chao to arrange it. Okay, then I'll wait for your news. Xiao Chen hung up the phone. He looked at the time and walked to school. Although it was a bit early, it was almost time. Along the way, Xiao Chen was surprised to find that the advertising signs on both sides of the road had been changed to "You families, I'm the spokesperson" advertisement. On it was written, "The first place has an annual salary of 1 million endorsement contract. The second place has a bonus of 300,000. The third place has a bonus of 100,000. The selection and registration requirements were very low. As long as one went to the hospital to do a physical examination and fill in a form, one could enter the candidate list. There was no need for the contestants to do anything. Such a simple process. Other than Xiao Chen, it was hard for others to understand what You family was doing. The cost of organizing this event wasn't low. They had invested so much money, but in the end, it was all thunder and no action. There wasn't a TV talent show, but the first, second, and third place were directly determined after the audition. This was simply child's play. Generally, this event was to promote the company, but after this selection, the first, second, and third place were directly determined. It was really unimaginable. It was impossible to say that the rankings were predetermined. After all, if it was predetermined, the first, second, and third place wouldn't bring any substantial benefits to themselves. Chapter 252. The first place could sign an endorsement contract and get an annual salary of 1 million. The second and third place could go home with the bonus, and the event would be over. If it was decided internally, they could just find 3 people. Why would they need to spend the event planning and advertising fees? Of course, Xiao Chen knew that Yu Xiaochuan was looking for the lady of Xianin. Lin Ke also saw the advertisement on TV. She secretly sent the registration information and waited for the unified organization to organize a physical examination. In Lin's eyes, this was a great opportunity. Even if she couldn't get first place, the second and third place would get 300,000 and 100,000 respectively. If Lin got it, it would relieve the pressure of her family. After signing up, Lin Ke waited patiently. However, what surprised her was that Xiao Chen and Tang Tang didn't come to the morning market to set up their stalls. Where did they go? Lin called Tang Tang's phone, but it was turned off. She wanted to call Xiao Chen, but she didn't have the courage. She could only look at Xiao Chen and Tang Tang's booth every morning to see if there was anyone. The news of the competition was just announced yesterday. Today, he received thousands of registration letters on the website and in physical mail. Red Hair reported it to Yu Xiaochuan, which made him very surprised. How many girls could there be in a school? However, on the first day of registration, there were already thousands. Yu Xiaochuan didn't believe that he couldn't find the lady of Xianin. Anyway, he could continue to hold events and expand the scope of registration. The cost of a spokesperson was only 1 million. Including the awards, it wasn't much. In order to find the lady of Xianin, Yu Xiaochuan was willing to invest any amount of money. Good, very good. The first batch of registration will be limited to 10,000. Then, you take them to do a physical examination. If there is a blood match, then stop the registration and select 1, 2, and 3. If there is no match, then continue. Yu Xiaochuan ordered. Okay, young Master Kun. Red Hair quickly responded, what about the second and third place? What's the evaluation standard? That is up to you. Yu Xiaochuan didn't care about the second and third place. Okay, young Master Kun. Don't worry, I will definitely do it well. Red Hair quickly said. What Red Fur didn't expect was that the number of registrations on the first day had reached the 10,000 mark. Red Fur immediately stopped the registrations and got his subordinates to inform these 10,000 people to gather for a physical examination tomorrow. Of course, Red Hair had already contacted the hospital where the physical examination would be conducted. He had also informed them that everyone would only be tested on their blood tomorrow and nothing else. He had mobilized a lot of nurses to collect their blood and many doctors to conduct tests together. Therefore, it was nothing new for 10,000 people to be examined at the same time. Lin also received the news. She was excited and planned to go for a physical examination the next morning, just as Yu Shaochuan was bustling about. At this very moment, the Xiao family welcomed an uninvited guest. What made Xiao Yuanshan a little surprised was that martial artist marketplace's medicine master's son actually came to visit. Medicine master's son? What is he here to see? Xiao Yuanshan looked at Xiao Hai and asked. I'm not too sure either. Xiao Hai shook his head. Father, didn't you see him before? Has your illness been cured? Xiao Hai's words reminded Xiao Yuanshan. Could it be that medicine master's son found a way to cure his illness and that's why he secretly came to visit? After all, Xiao Yuanshan requested the martial artist marketplace to keep this a secret. Even Xiao Hai didn't know about it. Alright, how about this? Tell him to come in and find me. Then, you can busy yourself with your own matters. Xiao Yuanshan instructed Xiao Hai. Yes, father. Xiao Hai didn't think much and went out to tell medicine master's son to see his father. Meanwhile, he went to busy himself with the Xiao family's matters. Ever since his big brother went missing, he had to shoulder all the family matters alone. It was very tiring for him. Old man Xiao, how have you been? Medicine master's son chuckled as he walked into Xiao Yuanshan's room. Xiao Yuanshan hurriedly got up to welcome him. Even though medicine master's son's age was considered his junior, martial artists respected strength. Those with high strength were called seniors, and those with low strength were called juniors. Even though medicine master's son's martial artist cultivation wasn't much, he was still a medicine master. He was also a very powerful existence. Xiao Yuanshan couldn't help but be respectful. So it's medicine master Sunday. Your presence really brings light to my humble home. Huh, old man Xiao must be joking. I'm just here to take a look. I'm just a small character, what's there to bring light to? Medicine master's son waved his hand and said, Old man Xiao, your poison, how is it? It's still the same. Xiao Yuanshan sighed. Thank you for medicine master's son's concern. Now, do you have a good solution? Not yet, but I've been working hard to research and search. I believe that in the near future, old man Zhao's poison will be cured. Medicine master's son said. That's good. At least there's something to think about. Xiao Yuanshan also knew that medicine master's son was mostly consoling him, but he still smiled. Consoling was also good. As long as there was a glimmer of hope, he didn't want to give it up. Oh right, medicine master's son, then why did you come to the Xiao family? Medicine master's son's purpose of coming here made Xiao Yuanshan a little suspicious. He had heard about the recent dispute between the Sun family and the Xie family. The Sun family was prospering. If medicine master's son didn't come here to cure his poison, then what was it for? I won't hide it from old man Xiao. This time, I'm here to represent the Sun family to surrender. Medicine master's son's expression suddenly turned serious. He cupped his fist and said, Old man Xiao, I hope that the Xiao family can save the Sun family. Consider that I tried my best to suppress the poison for you. Oh? What do you mean? Xiao Yuanshan was stunned. He didn't know why medicine master's son would make such a move. He still didn't know that the Sun family had already been removed from the list of suppliers in the warrior's market. This kind of news, the Xiao family usually had to wait for a day or two before they could find out. After all, the Xiao family didn't have anyone to specifically inquire about the news. Xiao Hai was too busy with his own matters. It's like this. Medicine master's son didn't hide anything. He told Xiao Yuanshan about how he had recently offended Qin Jinpeng. Offended the Qin family? Your Sun family is unwise. Xiao Yuanshan couldn't help but sigh after listening. This Sun family was indeed a little too complacent. They clearly knew that the Qin family's Qin Huanling had just been promoted to the Warriors Guild's vice president, yet they still went to provoke him? Wasn't this courting death? Actually, in the end, this matter can only be blamed on that brat, Xiao Qin. Medicine Master's son sighed and said helplessly. Oh. What does it have to do with Xiao Qin? Xiao Yuanshan was a little puzzled. How did Xiao Qin get involved? Initially, the one who had a conflict with our Sun family was Xiao Qin. Qin Jinpeng was only helping Xiao Qin, the boss, and that's why we became enemies. Medicine Master's son told him about how Xiao Qin was humiliated and how Qin Jinpeng stood up for him. What? Qin Jinpeng is now still working as Xiao Qin's underling? Xiao Yuanshan was a little shocked after listening. Was there something wrong with this Qin Jinpeng's brain? Xiao Qin was already chased out of the family, yet he still went to work as an underling? How retarded would he be? Yeah, I'm also quite puzzled. The most infuriating thing is that Qiao Yuliang from the Qiao family also joined in and helped Xiao Qin. Medicine Master's son was very depressed. He even killed a level 6 inner strength guard from our Sun family. Pfft. Ahem. Xiao Yuanshan felt like he was listening to a book from heaven. It was fine that Qin Jinpeng was out of his mind, but Qiao Yuliang and Xiao Qin used to be sworn enemies, right? Why did he help Xiao Qin? Were they brainwashed? If he didn't know that Medicine Master's son wouldn't joke about the Sun family's life and death, he would have thought that Medicine Master's son was talking nonsense. But these things were easy to investigate. He would just ask Xiao Hai to find out tomorrow. In order to avoid arousing suspicion, Xiao Yuanshan rarely asked Xiao Hai to ask about Xiao Qin. He only knew that Xiao Qin was currently living okay, but it was a bit hard. He was a servant for Qing Menjing without a salary. Every morning, he would go to the morning market with Tang Tang to sell breakfast. But he didn't know what relationship he had with Qin Jinpeng and Qiao Yuliang. Now it seemed that it was really strange. Old man Xiao, we had a good relationship in the past. I treated you before. Even when Xiao Qin was a child, I also saw that he couldn't practice martial arts. So I didn't suggest the Sun family to go against Xiao Qin. I just asked the Sun family to take revenge on Qin Jinpeng. Who knew that this would happen? Medicine Master's son said as if he was very caring for the Xiao family. But this time, Xiao Yuanshan really believed it. From his point of view, with the Sun family's strength, they might not be able to touch Qin Jinpeng and Qiao Yuliang. But if they wanted to touch Xiao Qin wouldn't be able to hide for even a day. Facing a giant like the Sun family, Xiao Qin was too weak. One person was too small. Anyone from the Sun family could crush him to death. But what Xiao Yuanshan didn't know was that the Sun family was about to be wiped out by his weak grandson. Thank you Medicine Master's son for giving me face. Although Xiao Qin was kicked out of the family, I don't want him to die. Xiao Yuanshan sighed, revealing his true feelings. Medicine Master's son thought to himself. As expected, if he died, there would be no one left in the Xiao family. It might really make Xiao Qin come back. But Xiao Qin was a big waste. Dealing with him was a piece of cake. He could kill him in minutes. It was better to take over the Xiao family first. Well said, well said. Medicine Master's son said, right now, our Sun family is at a dead end. We're ready to rely on the Xiao family. If Elder Xiao accepts us, then you will be our master. Xiao Qin will be our young master. Our Sun family is a dependent family, so we can't be disrespectful to him. We'll talk about Xiao Qin later. You mean, you want to rely on the Xiao family? Xiao Yuanshan was a little surprised. Although the Sun family was at a dead end, how much courage would it take to rely on someone else? After all, if the Sun family didn't offend the Qin family, with the speed at which the Sun family accumulated strength, they would quickly enter the ranks of the aristocratic families. In the next aristocratic family selection, they might even replace one of the families. Chapter 253. That's right, please accept us, Elder Xiao. Medicine Master's son nodded. Then, what benefits will our Xiao family get in the future? Xiao Yuanshan asked. All of Sun family's business channels can be used by the Xiao family to quickly expand the business. As long as we have the Xiao family's name, it will be easy for us to do business. We only want 30% of the profits, and the remaining 70% will belong to the Xiao family, Medicine Master Sun said. Xiao Yuanshan sucked in a breath of cold air. This Sun family's move was really big. Their business channels, and they only took 30% of the profits. This was basically operating costs. After all, hiring staff and shop costs were all costs. They worked so hard and only took 30% in the end. This was a sign that they were sincere. And the Xiao family's weakness was their business. After doing business for so many years, there wasn't much improvement. It wasn't a problem for him to support his family, but to say that he was rich was still far from it. Especially since Xiao Hai couldn't handle it alone. So at this moment, Xiao Yuanshan was tempted. Okay, let me think about it. I'll get back to you. Xiao Yuanshan nodded. No problem. Elder Xiao, I'll be leaving first. If there's any news, call me at any time. I'll be waiting for your good news. Medicine Master Sun looked at Xiao Yuanshan and knew that the matter was almost done. All that was left was to discuss the details with Xiao Hai. He didn't say much and got up to leave. After Medicine Master Sun left, Xiao Hai was called into the house by Xiao Yuanshan, and the two began to discuss. Xiao Chen was going to use the last pot of medicine tonight. If it didn't work, he would need to buy more ingredients tomorrow. Xiao Chen realized that his medicine was being used up very quickly. Although the jade thumb ring was assisting Xiao Chen's cultivation, Xiao Chen also realized that although the jade thumb ring was effective, it was worlds apart from the jade pendant. The spiritual energy contained in the two was not on the same level. Hence, Xiao Chen urgently needed other spirit jades. If he could cultivate together, two spirit jades would release spiritual energy at the same time. That way, the effects and cultivation speed would be faster. Without any surprise, Xiao Chen still didn't break through. From Xiao Chen's point of view, he was only a little bit away from breaking through. It seemed like he could reach it, but he couldn't touch it at the same time. Xiao Chen felt as if he was far away, yet close at hand. If the jade ring was a little more powerful, Xiao Chen would have broken through. However, the problem now was that the jade ring wasn't powerful enough. The amount of spiritual energy it provided in a unit of time was not enough for Xiao Chen to successfully break through. Therefore, Xiao Chen could only cultivate slowly. In this way, Xiao Chen urgently needed other spiritual jades. It depended on whether Chen Jinpeng could really get it or not. Xiao Chen didn't believe that Lin Chao could get it. If Lin Chao was so powerful, why would he follow Li Shanpao? Nothing happened that night. It was no surprise that Xiao Chen didn't break through. The next morning, Xiao Chen went to see Tang Tang and went to school. Tang Tang hadn't woken up yet, but Xiao Chen suddenly found that Tang Yun's body seemed to be a little swollen, as if a lot of water had been poured under her skin. This made Xiao Chen a little worried. Elder Heaven Ancestor, what's going on? Why does Tang Tang look like a floating corpse? Xiao Chen asked quickly, what's under her skin? Oh, it's all toxins. She should wake up in a while and go to the toilet to detoxify. Elder Heaven Ancestor said, the toxins in her body are more than I thought. I'm afraid she will have to delay waking up a little. I still have to postpone it. When will she wake up? Xiao Chen asked. Even if it's delayed, it won't be long. She will wake up in a few hours, Elder Heaven Ancestor said. Oh, then I'd better go. I wanted to wait for her to wake up, but she needs to go to the toilet as soon as she wakes up. How awkward would she be if I'm here? Xiao Chen knew very well how smelly the toxins in his body were, and he was still in a normal body. Tang Tang's poisoned body might not be able to knock people out, but it would stink to the heavens. So, Xiao Chen had better leave first, so that Tang Tang wouldn't be so embarrassed. Xiao Chen immediately went to Tang Tang's house. At the same time, on Yu Xiaochuan's side, Red Hair organized the contestants to go to the hospital for a physical examination in the morning. As for Ke Lin, she also secretly went to participate in the physical examination. When Xiao Chen arrived at the school, there weren't many people. As soon as he walked to the playground, a red and cool Land Rover rushed toward him. F***ck. Xiao Chen was stunned. This is the rhythm of wanting to kill me. He dodged subconsciously, but at this moment, the Land Rover behind him screeched to a stop behind Xiao Chen. Obviously, this person's purpose wasn't to kill Xiao Chen, but to scare Xiao Chen. Qi Zhigao jumped out of the car. He didn't expect Xiao Chen to dodge so quickly. Your reaction is quite quick. Is it because you have been beaten up too much recently that your dodging skills have improved? Qi Zhigao. Xiao Chen was stunned. He looked at his car, and he didn't see Xiao Xiao. He was a little puzzled. This guy finally couldn't hold it in for a while? Hee, it's me, your father. Qi Zhigao smiled. Whose father did you say you are? A hint of violence flashed in Xiao Chen's eyes. This feeling came again. Xiao Chen couldn't help but have the urge to kill Qi Zhigao. Qi Zhigao, you changed quite fast. You even called me Brother Xiao before. Xiao Chen found that as long as someone touched his reverse scale, he would have the urge to kill. This reverse scale included his family and friends. Oh, sorry, your father is dead. I don't want to be your father. Qi Zhigao saw that Xiao Chen was angry, and he was even happier. Kid, I respected you as Xiao Zhao's brother and called you brother. But now, even Xiao Xiao doesn't care about you. I don't respect you at all. Xiao Chen took a deep breath. This Qi Zhigao was a spoiled child. He didn't have much evil intentions towards him. He was just here to vent his anger. Otherwise, he would have crashed his car earlier. There was no need to brake. Moreover, this guy was sincere towards Xiao Xiao. Xiao Chen didn't want to kill him because of his personal feelings. Although there was no one in the school now, no one would know if he killed him. Go, I don't want to see you. Xiao Chen waved his hand and turned to leave. Did your Gao bro let you go? Qi Zhigao slapped the back of Lin Yi's head. He was a stage 3 inner force martial artist, but at this moment, he controlled his inner force and suppressed it to around stage 1. In other words, he could beat Xiao Chen up until his sister couldn't recognize him, but he couldn't take Xiao Chen's life. Xiao Chen took 2 steps forward and dodged. He didn't even turn his head and said, Qi Zhigao, are you done? Xiao Chen didn't want to kill him, but he was getting angry. Of course I'm not done. Xiao Chen, if I didn't beat you up today, it would be unfair to my car. That day, Yu Xiaochuan was here, so I could only endure it. Now, no one can help you. If I beat you up, Xiao Xiao will think that I'm very manly. Wahahaha. Qi Zhigao looked at Xiao Chen proudly. However, speaking of Yu Xiaochuan, he was even angrier. Yu Xiaochuan said that he would pay for Xiao Chen's car, but he didn't even see a single cent. What a scam. So, his admiration and respect for Yu Xiaochuan turned into disgust. Young people at this age always looked up to those who were slightly older and very capable, and treated them as their goal. However, Yu Xiaochuan's actions made Qi Zhigao lose his interest. However, Qi Zhigao's behavior made Xiao Chen speechless. Does beating me up give you a sense of accomplishment? However, Xiao Chen didn't want to be beaten up for no reason because he pretended to be weak. Otherwise, how could he go to school? Xiao Chen had a lot of things to do recently. If he didn't resist and get beaten up, he wouldn't be able to go to the car race tomorrow. Don't force me, okay? Xiao Chen looked at Qi Zhigao and was really speechless. If you're a man, fight with me. Don't beg for mercy. No wonder Xiao Xiao looks down on you. You're a weakling, a coward, and a cripple. Qi Zhigao shouted. Xiao Chen pondered for a moment. Suddenly, he turned around and kicked Qi Zhigao. At this moment, Xiao Chen revealed his full strength. The strength of the peak of level 4 Qi refinement stage erupted, which was equivalent to more than level 5 Qi refinement stage. This made Qi Zhigao instantly dumbfounded. Before Xiao Chen's foot arrived, the wind from the kick had already pushed the unprepared Qi Zhigao directly to the ground. His face was filled with disbelief, horror, and confusion. How could Xiao Chen be a martial artist? Moreover, his strength had reached the peak of level 5 Qi refinement stage. How was this possible? This was unrealistic. However, unrealistic was unrealistic. While Qi Zhigao was still in shock, Xiao Chen's foot had already arrived. Qi Zhigao subconsciously closed his eyes. He was only a level 3 Qi refinement stage martial artist. Even if he resisted with all his strength, and Xiao Chen didn't attack with all his strength, he would still be seriously injured. However, when Xiao Chen's foot stepped on his chest, he held back his strength. Qi Zhigao felt for a long time. Other than the feeling of a foot stepping on his body, there was nothing wrong. Qi Zhigao opened his eyes and looked at the big foot in front of him in disbelief. Looking at Xiao Chen, who was looking down on him, he subconsciously said, "Brother Xiao, I was wrong. Don't step on me to death." He thought that Xiao Chen wanted him to say a few last words before he died. Wasn't it usually like this on TV and in novels? Before killing someone, they would let the victim say a few last words. Therefore, Qi Zhigao was directly scared to death. "Qi Zhigao, aren't you very capable? Why are you scared? You are a weakling, a coward, and a cripple." Xiao Chen returned all the words that Qi Zhigao had said before to Qi Zhigao. In an instant, the momentum of his body erupted again, as if he was going to step on Qi Zhigao to death. "Brother Xiao, I was wrong. I am a weakling." Qi Zhigao was indeed scared to death. "Don't tell anyone about what happened today. Otherwise, I can easily kill you," Xiao Chen said lightly. Chapter 254. I can't. "Brother Xiao, I'm your brother-in-law. How can I talk nonsense?" Qi Zhigao quickly said. "Whose brother-in-law are you? I don't have a brother-in-law like you." Xiao Chen shook his head and snorted coldly. "Brother, I was wrong before. You know, your brother-in-law admires the strong. Brother Xiao, weren't you a good-for-nothing before? How did you suddenly have the strength of the peak of the 5th stage of inner force? What's going on? I'm a little confused," Qi Zhigao said while lying on the ground with a smile. "Nothing. Just don't talk nonsense." Xiao Chen didn't answer him because Xiao Chen couldn't answer it clearly. Moreover, Xiao Chen didn't want to tell anyone about the Elder Heaven Ancestor. At least not for the time being. "Don't worry." Qi Zhigao nodded repeatedly. "By the way, Brother Xiao, I know. You must have deliberately hidden your strength and then acted with the Xiao family. They drove you out to investigate the disappearance of my uncle. Is that true? Who the F***ck is your uncle?" Xiao Chen said angrily. "I'm your brother-in-law, brother. Uncle Xiao Feng is my uncle," Qi Zhigao said. "You understand it yourself." Xiao Chen didn't expect that although Qi Zhigao was a playboy, his brain was very sharp. He actually found out that there was something wrong with his father's disappearance. Yes. Qi Zhigao nodded repeatedly. "Don't tell Xiao Xiao about this," Xiao Chen said. Oh. Xiao Xiao doesn't know?" Qi Zhigao nodded quickly. "She doesn't know," Xiao Chen said. "Oh, she still doesn't know that her brother is a shining figure. If she knew, she would definitely worship you to death." Qi Zhigao said, "No, Brother Xiao, I already worship you to death. I just know that there is a master beside me. So it turns out that my big brother is the legendary existence of the younger generation. He hid his superb strength and endured humiliation to clear his father's name. He even secretly went to the guardian goddess and flirted with girls in secret. It's so cool, so awesome, so awesome." Xiao Chen was a little speechless. But from Qi Zhigao's point of view, if all of this was premeditated and not a fortuitous encounter, then it was really amazing. How scheming did he have to be to do such a thing? I know I'm right. Big brother, you've tacitly agreed. Don't worry, I won't say anything. You don't need to hint at me. Qi Zhigao crawled up from the ground and gave the car key to Xiao Chen. Big brother, how can you not have a car if you're so awesome? You can have my car. No, I have a few. Qin Jinpeng gave them to me, Xiao Chen said. Oh, I understand. Keep a low profile. Big brother is keeping a low profile now, so I'm leaving. If you need anything, just call me. I'm definitely your best lackey. Qi Zhigao said. Xiao Chen nodded and motioned that Qi Zhigao could go. This guy could still be trusted. After all, he really wanted to pursue Xiao Xiao. In that case, he would definitely not do anything bad to the Xiao family. Especially when he thought that Xiao Chen was acting with the Xiao family, there was no reason for him to expose him. After Qi Zhigao left, Xiao Chen walked into the classroom. After a while, Jing Xiaokuan came. He saw Xiao Chen but did not see Tang Tang. He could not help but be a little worried. Xiao Chen, why hasn't Tang Tang come yet? Did something happen to her? No, she should wake up today, right? Xiao Chen said. Elder Heaven Ancestor should not be wrong. Xiao Chen was still very convinced of Elder Heaven Ancestor's judgment. Okay. Jing Xiaokuan knew that it was useless to worry, so he could only nod and wait patiently. After Xiao Chen transferred here, he suddenly found that his relationship with Tang Tang was a little estranged. On the contrary, Xiao Chen was getting closer and closer to Tang Tang. However, he was not jealous because he knew that it was impossible for him and Tang Tang. If Xiao Chen could treat Tang Tang sincerely, he would be very happy, although it would be a little sad. Xiao Chen was right. In fact, Tang Tang woke up as soon as Xiao Chen left in the morning. But after waking up, she got up in a daze and rushed to the toilet. She only felt that her stomach seemed to be about to erupt. After entering the bathroom, Tang Tang couldn't come out. Tang Tang was a little confused. She didn't seem to have such diarrhea before, and it didn't stop. Fortunately, it was water, otherwise, it would come out. But, what's wrong with me? In a daze, Tang Tang felt that she seemed to be going to school before, and then she didn't know anything. Was it a dream before? Now that she thought about it, it should be so. Otherwise, why would she wake up at home? Tang Tang sat in the toilet. Time passed by, but her stomach didn't have the slightest intention of stopping. 10 minutes, half an hour, 1 hour, 2 hours. Tang Tang was a little anxious. She looked up at the wall clock in the bathroom, and it was already more than 6 o'clock. She didn't go to the morning market to set up the stall, but she was going to be late for school. Finally, at 7 o'clock, Tang Tang finished the battle. But she touched her body, and it was also sticky. She didn't know what black stuff seeped out. Could it be that she splashed when she went to the toilet? But it couldn't be, anyway. Tang Tang had no choice but to turn on the shower head in the bathroom and quickly rinsed herself. She rinsed the body twice and finally washed off the mud on her body. Tang Tang quickly wiped her body, ran out, put on her clothes in the bedroom, picked up her school bag, and rushed to school. Huh? Why does it seem that the clothes on my body are a little bigger? Did it become bigger after taking a bath? Other clothes were shrinking, but this one was actually soaked big. It seemed that the cheap clothes bought in the morning market didn't work. But Tang Tang didn't want to go home to change. It was good to wear loose casual clothes. Tang Tang glanced at her watch. She was going to be late. Not only was she going to be late, but she also glanced at the date. She was actually on duty today. Tang Tang vaguely remembered that it seemed that there were still a few days before her turn on duty, but how could it be so fast? Was she dreaming again? Was she in a daze? Tang Tang trotted all the way to school. She used to walk to school, but today when she saw a bus, she directly squeezed onto it and went in the direction of school. What made Tang Tang a little confused was that it was not easy to squeeze onto the bus with her fat body in the past. But today, she actually got on the bus with a whoosh. And in the bus, there was a man with a wretched look staring at Tang Tang. Look at your head. Haven't you seen a fat girl before? Tang Tang glared at the wretched man. Huh? The wretched man was stunned and shook his head in amazement as if he had heard something very incredible. Tang Tang didn't have the mood to care about him. She got off the bus and rushed to the school and the class. At this time, there were 2 minutes left before the first class. Tang Tang quickly ran to the podium. She didn't even have time to put her school bag back in the seat. She picked up the blackboard eraser and began to wipe the blackboard. The math teacher walked into the class and was about to start the class. Seeing Tang Tang was still wiping the blackboard, she was just about to ask why she was on duty so late. What did she do before? But before she could speak, she was stunned. Who is this little girl? Did she go to the wrong class? Why have I never seen her before? Classmate, did you go to the wrong class? The math teacher looked at Tang Tang with some confusion. She looked left and right, but she didn't know her. She looked a little familiar. But the teacher had taught countless people in her life, so it was normal to see everyone a little familiar. Wrong class? Miss Chen, don't you know me? Tang Tang looked at the math teacher with some confusion. This is the 3rd grade class. Although I'm Miss Chen, but... Are you in this class? Miss Chen looked at Tang Tang with some confusion. I am. Tang Tang said in her heart. Did Miss Chen lose her memory? Are you a new transfer student? Miss Chen thought of a possibility, but it was a little strange that a transfer student knew her on the first day of school. Miss Chen, I am Tang Tang. Tang Tang said with some depression. Tang Tang? Miss Chen looked at Tang Tang in front of her in astonishment. You said you're Tang Tang? Don't joke, classmate. This joke is not funny at all. Which class are you in? Hurry up and go back. I'll take it as a joke. Otherwise, if I report it to the school, you will be punished. Report it to the school? Give me punishment? Miss Chen, don't joke around. I'm really Tang Tang. Tang Tang really didn't know whether to laugh or cry. How come Miss Chen didn't know me? In fact, not only Miss Chen, when Tang Tang entered the class, the students in the class were also a little puzzled. Why did a super beautiful girl suddenly come in? She was almost on par with the goddess Qing Menjing. The students were stunned. Was she a transfer student? Then they would be happy in the future. They didn't know what her family background was. Could they catch up with her? Qing Menjing was arrogant and cold every day. They knew that they could not catch up with her. Moreover, she was Lu Zhenming's girl. Who was Lu Zhenming? He was a gangster. Who dared to provoke him? But Tang Tang's appearance made the other boys' minds active. Students, you all know Tang Tang, right? Then, do you think the person on the podium is Tang Tang? Do you know her? Seeing Tang Tang's expression, Miss Chen was a little depressed. Why didn't this student give up until she jumped into the Yellow River? There should be a limit to jokes, right? Tang Tang was a student in this class. The students in this class should know her. In this case, she simply didn't say it. She didn't argue with her. She directly let the student say whether the student on the podium was Tang Tang or not. Miss Chen was really puzzled. Why did a beautiful girl pretend to be Tang Tang? Tang Tang was much uglier than her. No. The students under the stage almost said in unison. How could it be Tang Tang? Tang Tang and she were completely different people. You're tuning into the Journey of the Soul YouTube channel. Don't forget to subscribe and join us on this journey to catch the most captivating stories.